And I believe through that, we may be able to polish our policy and our approach in dealing with this matter. And we will do so. Now, forest reserves. Small-scale mining is not permitted in forest reserves. So the question about illegal small-scale mining in forest reserves, I think it is more about having the right mechanism to prevent such illegalities in our forest reserves. The law doesn't permit small-scale mining in forest reserves. Declare a state of emergency, that is within the bosom of the president, but I find that to be a far-reaching, really, a very draconian measure to take. And so we will engage them, and we will have this conversation. And I believe out of that, we may be able to come up with some consensus which we can work with. Declare a state of emergency, that is within the bosom of the president, but I find that to be a far-reaching, really, a very draconian measure to take. And so we will engage them, and we will have this conversation. And I believe out of that, we may be able to come up with some consensus which we can work with. So I'm reluctant to give a definitive position on this matter. I think the discussion should go on, and I think that at some stage the country will come to a consensus on this matter. But it's not as simple as ban small-scale mining, all forms of small-scale mining. I think that the repercussions may be a lot. I mean, as I said, and I keep repeating it, the collective action is what is required.
Well, this is not as simple as just banning small-scale mining. But that is one of many demands that civil society, TUC, and in fact, a number of other groups and individuals who have joined in the conversation are making of government. Ban all forms of illegal small-scale mining or mining legal within forest reserves and on water bodies and so on. But the minister was quite clear. It's not as simple as that. And going on to make the suggestion about the conversation continuing with respect to the state of emergency declaration that the TUC, for instance, and in Ghana National Association of Teachers all want the president to declare because of the crisis situation that we find ourselves in right now. That's for illegal mining. It's one of the big issues that we're going to be getting into. And the key moments here on Key Point on TV3. We're also live on 3FM 92.7. Here on Key Point, we discuss the most topical issues of the week with our well-informed panelists. As always, never miss the key moments. Live here on 3FM 92.7. President Akufo-Addo has eventually set up the 5-member committee that's Interministerial Committee to review the fight against illegal mining and also engage stakeholders to assess government efforts to deal with illegal mining. Popularly known as Galamsey. What you're seeing there is the River Pra. That's how polluted it's become. This comes on the instruction of President Akufo-Addo. The committee will be chaired by the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapal, assisted by 4 other ministers. The 4 others, Lands and Natural Resources Minister, the man you just heard, Samuel Abu-Jinapo, Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwo, Employment Minister, Ignatius Bafwewa, and the Information Minister, Fatimatu Abubakar. So that's the latest to it right now. Will this proposal, in fact, this formation of the Interministerial Committee, answer some of the questions on the minds of the many who are calling for some pragmatic measures, immediate measures be put in place to address this crisis that we find ourselves. And it's a crisis because we've been showing you the extent of devastation caused our forest cover and also the destruction that we've seen over the period. This morning, here on Key Point, we'll delve into the matter. Also, the Electoral Commission has described the demand and the call by the NDC for a forensic audit of the voters register as misguided and unnecessary. There was a press conference 2 days ago. Samuel Tete, deputy chair of the commission in charge of operations, emphasized that such an audit would not add any value to the EC's established processes for strengthening the provisional voters register. So it's a conversation that we would have, in addition to some of the issues that have come up at that press conference. The NDC has resolved that they will hit the streets come Tuesday, the 17th of September, to, as it were, drum home their concerns about the current state of the voters register. We would have a conversation this morning here on Key Point. So what's next for the NDC? Since their demands really appeared not to have been met by the Electoral Commission. We'll get into it here on Key Point on TV3. We have a conversation on the matters relating to the continuous call for a halt to what has been described widely as the state capture. Not too long ago, you heard the attempted takeover of a land belonging to the Ghana International School. We hear, in fact, I have received a number of reports of some forceful takeovers of lands belonging to some individuals in the Laboni cantonments, La Wireless areas. One person who has been on it consistently is the Honorable Samuel Kujato Ablakwa, is a North Town Member of Parliament. There's something that is brewing, and so we'll get into it this morning as well. So stay with us here on Keep On, don't go away. My guest will be joining me in a bit. We would have a conversation. My name is Alfred Ocansey. On behalf of the rest of the team, welcome to Key Point. Stay with us. After this quick break, we're back to start the conversation.
Enjoy the best football moments with your guy, GoTV. Get your GoTV today to enjoy all the best football live on SuperSport. GoTV.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, a tranquil oasis in the serene surroundings of Aye Mensah.
Ghana's most beautiful celebrates Africa. Come with us on a special episode as our 10 stunning queens explore the rich heritage of diverse African countries. Discover the values that shape us and the vibrant traditions that make us proud. Don't miss this unforgettable celebration of African culture. Ghana's most beautiful, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride.
GMB is sponsored by
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Nescafe Blood Tonic,
Frutelli Calipo,
Reflow Sanitary Pad,
Vitamilk, Obuasi Bitters, Global Wings Travel and Tour,
Sankofa Natural Spices, MDS Lancet, Polytank.
The news.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, a tranquil oasis in the serene surroundings of Aye Mensah, Danfa. Discover Sand Bay, our 3-bedroom homes that redefine comfort and affordability, along with cozy 2-bedroom options that make you feel right at home.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get parking so you have to Wallah. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. Hey, go bill ready. We are star 712. It's what you phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Let's
choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe a straight to option 4. Now you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or prefer tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. That's it. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
never. Tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
I was employed in a production, a media house. Okay. And whilst I was doing quality control, that involved watching so many hours. And I saw all these little errors for the women. Bra straps showing, not seated properly, makeup looking bad, too much highlighter, or cracked face. And I kept complaining.
This week on Today's Woman, our guest is Alexandrina Dawn Arthur, the creative director at Alexi Glam Limited.
And one day we were having a team meeting. I said, you know, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And it's like, the director was like, if you want to do something, then change it.
Exactly.
Do something about it.
This Saturday, 3 p.m. right here on TV3.
Brought to you by Vlisco.
Hello, welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. If you're just joining us, Key Point is airborne. And as always, we have you in mind and at heart. Here on Key Point, we take the key issues that are of concern to you, the Ghanaian people, and we go straight to the point. And I want to acknowledge the many of you who have, through text messages, emails, and letters. So many letters I receive every week from you. Some of you coming here to drop it, suggesting to us the issues that you want us to spend some time to talk about. I really appreciate the level of ownership that you, the viewers, have, and that involvement as well of this program. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, my guest joining me in a bit, we'll start off this conversation with the matters of state capture, as has been termed over the period, and these reports of the forceful takeovers of lands and the reported resistance by some. The principal of the Ghana International School, Frank Amponsa, has expressed concern over reports of this attempted takeover of the school lands by some individuals. In fact, according to him, a group led by a man identifying himself as a chief superintendent with the police VVIP unit, a unit responsible for protection at the presidency, invaded the school's property with building materials including sand and blocks. Eventually, we do know there's a statement that was issued by the presidency explaining how this said individual with that police unit at the presidency getting involved in all of this, that he was not there to, as it were, lead the process of the forceful takeover, but was rather doing his job of rather reporting these alleged encroachers who were trying to forcefully take over this land belonging to the GIS, rather to the cantonment police. This was a statement from the Office of the President. No officer, agent, or assigned has been directed to secure and or interfere in any matter pertaining to GIS land within cantonments. The said Chief Superintendent Ibrahim Opoku of the VVIP unit of the Office of the President did his professional duty by handling or handing over alleged encroachers and suspects to the cantonment police station when he chanced upon an altercation at the cantonment barrier on his way from work. And then he says the chief superintendent submitted his credentials at the police station as he is enjoined to do as part of standard operating procedure in such situations. And in light of the above, the Office of the President has made a formal complaint to the Inspector General of Police or to investigate the entire matter. That is what has come through now. In fact, the latest that came through from the presidency on this matter. Well, the principal of the Ghana International School, Franca Amponsa-Mensah, spoke to Ghana Web, also saying what had been reported to him on this matter. Take a listen.
Just about 2 months ago, a gentleman came over, came with langas. The langas were about 4.
Them and asked them what they were doing. And a young man there, who apparently was a mason, said that his boss had come to show him the property much earlier and mentioned to him that he wanted him to construct a wall. And that's why they were bringing the blocks. So we said, at first we thought maybe it was a mistaken kind of thing. Maybe the mason didn't quite locate the plots. So we told them that no, this was part of land belonging to Ghana International School, and so they should leave. So they left. And then we made a complaint to the cantonment police station. They immediately followed up with a response. Their response team, rapid response team, I believe, they came here, assessed the situation, and one of their senior police officers gave us a number that if anything happened, we should call them. So we decided that, look, even if this was, assuming this was not a mistake, then we would need to just make sure that the gate was fixed so that people couldn't come in. And so we took a decision. We had a meeting on Friday, and the decision was that we will extend the chain link fence from the adjoining property so that we fix the gate, etc. But then on the night of Friday into Saturday, around 1:34 a.m., the security, so we beefed up security at the premises, even though somebody lives there. And then they saw a truck laden with sand, a tipper truck, that was attempting to drive into the property. So they stopped him and invited the cantonment police again, who also got on the scene and, you know, trying to find out, what are you doing coming here almost 2 a.m. with a truck? And then we noticed that there were 2 other people in the truck apart from the driver and the mate. One of them was the mason who had arrived 2 days earlier with the blocks. And so they resisted. They said they would not let them go onto the premises. Now, the number of the tipper truck was a GC 2397-21. That was the number of the tipper truck. Now, while this was going on, they saw that a Toyota Camry car arrived on the scene. The number of the Toyota Camry car was ER 297-23. And a gentleman got out from the Toyota Camry car, plain clothes, and he spoke to the policeman and asked that the sand should be allowed, they should allow the sand to be tipped.
So that's the principal of the Ghana International School, Frank Amponsa Mensah. He's a private legal practitioner as well. And he mentions the names of the car numbers, that's the tipper truck number, and then the Toyota Camry with some individuals in there who were the ones who attempted taking over. And these cars are registered in the names of people. So this matter has been reported, according to the presidency, to the IGP to take this matter up. We don't have any update. It's been almost 2 weeks. We don't have any update as to whether the individuals who own these vehicles, this tipper truck and the Camry, who pulled up and were actually part of this attempt to forcefully take over the land of GIS, have been arrested or not. We'll wait for that update and any further investigation into this matter. But there's a man who has some updates on this. Sam Lokujeto Ablakwa is Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency. He is the chair of the Government Assurance Committee of Parliament and a number of committees as well that he is on. And he is the chief interceptor. He's joining us in the studio. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good morning,
for this
Alfred.
First part of the conversation. It's good to have you. Also, Yaboabea Samoa is a senior advisor to the Movement for Change leader, former communications officer of the MPP, and then also a former member of parliament for the Adenta constituency, my constituency. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Now, so Blackwell, let's sort of this GIS matter, and I mentioned the names of these the car numbers because the principal put them out. What's the latest you have on it?
Well, good morning to you. Good morning to my good friend, the Honorable Boabina Samoa, and good morning to all the viewers of TV3. Kindly permit me to extend hearty congratulations to my paramount chief in Bato. His daughter is getting married this morning, and so we'll all be there to celebrate with them. He's also the vice president of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs, Tobega Patamia Jekle, the 7th. So hearty congratulations, to him and his daughter and the groom-to-be. So, Alfred, we need to situate this state capture discussion in the proper context. Resources of our country, national assets of our country, belong to all citizens. It belongs to all of us. Under a rule of law dispensation, citizens must have the right not only to know how their state resources, state assets are being managed, because remember that under Article 257 of the Constitution, we have only asked the President to manage these assets on our behalf. They are vested in him to manage for and on behalf of the people of Ghana. They actually belong to the people of Ghana. Under a constitutional dispensation, under a rule of law dispensation, citizens also have the right to enjoy their property.
Indeed.
With peace, with serenity, with sanctity, and they should not be under constant harassment, inundation, as though we have become a banana republic, we've become a jungle where might is right. If you think you have political power, if you think you are connected to the powers that be, then you just take whatever you set your eyes upon. That cannot be tolerated. That cannot be a democracy. This GIS matter highlights the growing concern about state capture. How people who think they have authority have grown in impunity and are doing whatever they want with utter disregard for due process, with utter contempt for the people of this country. It's a really tragic situation that on the 31st of August at 2 a.m., will you believe that? 2 a.m.
Yeah, the principal confirmed that.
2 a.m. If the security had not been alert and they had not called for reinforcement, these faceless characters will have taken over portions of GIS land. And if you have observed, a lot of these marauding gang who are on the loose, they are operating in prime areas. They are not interested in land in rural Ghana. They are not interested in undeveloped territories where you have probably bushes, you know, where we don't have laid out roads and electricity and all of that. They only go there if they hear that there is gold, which is all part of the state capture, you know. So prime land, very jewel locations are what have come under attack. Now, you need to bear in mind that this GIS matter is not an isolated case. Others within the cantonments, airport, Laboni enclave have reported same invasions. Indeed, those who were not fortunate, like GIS, their properties have been demolished. And as we speak, no arrests have been made. The people are virtually heading to the courts. Now, if you also have a situation where for the first time in this country's history, the Judicial Service of Ghana goes to court and they list 13 bungalows they have lost. First on the list, number 7 Fifth Circular Road, which has generated considerable controversy because that takes you to where Asasi Radio is. When you follow those court proceedings, which I have done, the government is not contesting at all. They are calling for an out-of-court settlement with the Chief Justice so that they can compensate the Judicial Service of Ghana. Can you believe that? That is how bad things have gotten. That the Judicial Service of Ghana has gone to court and they've provided a list here of properties they have lost. Now back to GIS. The Ghana International School.
So the Judicial Service has a number of properties they have lost within that enclave?
Yes, within that enclave.
Cantonments, Laboni area?
Yes.
How many are those? You said this matter is in court?
It's in court. There are 13 of them.
13?
Yes. And indeed, the Ministers for Lands, Works and Housing, Attorney General, and the Lands Commission have reached out to the Chief Justice asking for an amicable resolution of this matter out of court.
I see.
So that is how terrible the situation is. Let nobody think that state capture is an exaggeration. It is not. It is happening, real.
So
and many more are beginning to recount their ordeals. Now, back to GIS. So it is important to emphasize that I am not the least convinced about the statement issued by the president.
Why is that? They were very clear.
And indeed, the president must come under heavy criticism this morning.
For what exactly?
The statement is in total bad faith. It is prejudicial to what has happened. Look, I have followed this matter. Indeed, I've had discussions with key actors. What they tell me is that the gentleman from the VVIP unit at the office of the president, Chief Superintendent Ibrahim Opoku, was virtually supervising the operations, the invasion.
But the presidency says
he
did
followed.
his job.
Have you read the GIS statement? Let me read the GIS statement to you. And GIS did not mince words at all when they narrated what they went through on that night. Really, really terrible situation. And I'll bring out that statement in a jiffy.
But in fact, the principal made reference to the said gentleman leading a process. And then the presidency came out with this statement indicating what this gentleman, the chief superintendent, was there to do. In fact, he says he was just driving by and saw what was happening, moved in there to go and ensure in doing his job as was expected. Rather got these people and reported them to the cantonment police. That's the narrative in the presidency.
So this is a statement the GIS. It says, at about 2 a.m. on Saturday, 31st August 2024, a tipper truck laden with sand drove to the gate of the property in an attempt to tip the sand onto the property. This was resisted by GI security and cantonment's police, who had been called in. However, a plain-clothed individual in a Toyota Camry car with registration number GC2397-21 insisted that the truck be allowed to enter the gate and tip the sand. This is the gentleman in question. And this is the GIS narration that he was actively participating, attempted to stop them and the cantonment's police, and insisted that the truck operators should be allowed to tip the sand. The statement continues. 2 persons in the tipper truck were picked up by the cantonment's police station. Personnel of GIS were also invited to the station. The individual, this same individual, in the Toyota car also followed. At the cantonment's police station, he gave his name as Chief Superintendent Ibrahim Opoku of the VVIP unit of the Office of the President. In the morning of Saturday, an excavator was brought on the site to excavate the land in preparation for construction of a fence wall. This was resisted by the school authorities. The school management has taken steps to secure its property and warns all encroachers and any security officers that may be fronting for them to keep off its bona fide property. So this is the GIS narration. Now, President of the Republic, a direct staff at your office has come up in such an inglorious manner. You are calling for investigations. What do? You just say that, look, these matters have come to your attention. In all fairness to all sides, we are making a formal complaint to the IGP for investigation. And you stop there. You don't have to take sides and present the narration that you have been told by Chief Superintendent Opoku as the fact. So you have virtually presented the IGP with a fait accompli, that whatever investigation he's going to do, if the facts determine otherwise, it will be that he is embarrassing his boss, the president. So he would have to. And that is what happened in the Cecilia Dapa matter. When President Akufo-Addo accepted the resignation of Cecilia Dapa, his response was a romantic love letter exonerating her. That, oh, my dear, I know that you have always been clean. You will be vindicated at the end of the day. Were you therefore surprised that all the investigative bodies, from the OSP to Yoko to CID, all of them made such a bundle, such a total mess of the situation? And as we speak, there has been no credible investigation, and she's off the hook. Only this week, what has been the trending video? A gentleman cleared by the president by name Pius Hajide, parliamentary candidate of the MPP in Esojaman, cleared by the president. President told us that, the man is squeaky clean. He is not responsible for the Australia visa fiasco. And you know, the sad thing about all of this clearing that the president does is that we never get to find who actually did it, who the culprits are. So if Pius Hajide cleared, so who is that? Who did the visa racketeering? Took over 60 journalists to Australia, brought us considerable international opprobrium, disgrace, which has even affected our standing in the Committee of Nations. And a lot of embassies since then have even reviewed their embassy visa requirements. Total disgrace. Up to now, we don't know who did it. It was some people descended upon us from Mars and engaged in this visa racketeering. Now you have Pius Hajide confessing virtually. And this is a lesson to all presidents that when you clear people who are actually guilty, they will expose you. Now Pius Hajide is telling his constituent that, didn't you, I'm the champion. I'm the visa racketeering master. Didn't you people see what I did? Look at even the distance to Australia and the number of people I managed to take there. And then America, and he claims 7 hours. I don't know if he uses a supersonic fighter jet to travel to the States. He says that, America is just 7 hours. I can get you guys there, just as I did in the Australia visa scandal, exposing the president. And that is what the president is not learning. Look at this statement. Let me read this statement that he issued. I mean, it's in such bad taste. He says that we wish to place on record the following. 1, the office of the president does not have any interest whatsoever in the piece of land in question.
Yes.
No officer, agent, or assigned has been directed to secure nor interfere in any matter pertaining to GIS land within cantonments. The said chief is Superintendent Ibrahim Opoku of the VVIP unit of the office of the president did his professional duty by handing over alleged encroachers and suspects to the cantonments police station. That is contrary to what eyewitnesses have said, what GIS officials have said. And yet the president...
you would have expected the investigation would rather...
Exactly. Let the investigation establish. So. Exactly. Then it continues. It says that when Chief Superintendent Opoku chanced upon an altercation at the cantonments barrier on his way from work. I mean, such ridiculousness. So at 2 a.m., he was leaving work and just chanced upon this.
Yes, that's what they say.
Why should the president be presenting us with this one-sided conclusion? Then why refer the matter to the IGP for investigation? Why? Okay. It's totally needless. Totally needless. He said the chief superintendent submitted his credentials at the police station, as he's enjoyed to do, as part of standard operating procedure in such situation. In the light of the above, the office of the president has made a formal complaint to the Inspector General of Police to investigate the entire matter. Meanwhile, we call on the General Party to disregard as false any statements to the contrary. I mean, total hogwash. So what is the IGP going to investigate? Poor IGP, I pity him. The president has told you what to him, what his investigation has found out. Chief Superintendent Ibrahim Opoku was only going home from work at 2 a.m. Then he chanced upon a situation.
It's been over 2 weeks since this matter was reported, at least was made public. Has there been any arrest or any updates in the investigation, as far as you do know? Because I haven't heard.
Take this from me. Nothing will come out of this.
Nothing will come out of this?
This statement has prejudiced investigations. The IGP clearly has been presented with a fait accompli. Any investigation is useless. It will actually even be a waste of taxpayer funds with what the president has done, with this damning statement. Very prejudicial, very one-sided, throwing the GIS officials under the bus. So the president is telling us that what GIS proprietor, the board chairman, the security, all of this, including the cantonments police station, what they saw, what they experienced, how Chief Superintendent Opoku insisted that they should give way for these invaders to tip the sand. All of them are blatant liars. That's what the president is telling us. And you think that the IGP will have the courage to contradict the commander-in-chief It's a useless exercise. Don't expect any investigations.
And it appears, that, as you indicate, this is not a matter limited to GIS, because my attention was brought to another situation of an 18-bedroom apartment building in this Cantonments area, where this co-owner of this 18-bedroom apartment is accusing some unknown men of demolishing his property without a valid reason. And they always come and say, unknown men. Sylvester Eshan is the co-owner of this 18-bedroom apartment, which has been demolished as we speak. And he spoke to Joy News. This was like about a couple of weeks ago. We have that interview. Take a look at this.
Just about 2 months ago, a gentleman came over, came with langars. The langars were about 4. They jumped the wall, opened the gate, and walked in and confronted the tenants in the house that they were going to demolish the house. So lo and behold, they called me from the office. I drove fast to the place. I met them, and then I asked them, what for? And he said the place is for him. I said, where are you coming from? He said he's coming from the office of the vice president. I said, listen, this is a private property. You don't have the right. Do you have any paper, any document indicating that you own the property? He didn't mind. So, in fact, there was that misunderstanding. So I drove him out of the house. 2 weeks down the lane, at 1 a.m., dawn, he came with langars. They jumped the wall again with a bulldozer, broke part of the building. So I dashed down to the Cantonment police station and lodged a formal complaint.
And all of these questionable operations happened at dawn. So this GIS one was around 2 a.m. The gentleman you just heard, Sylvester Eshan, the co-owner of this 18-bedroom apartment. Think about it, 18-bedroom apartment which has been demolished by some unknown men. This operation also happened around 1 a.m. So the people showed up at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
All of this at that time.
Yes. And look, if you have legal title, what you are doing is above board. Why do you go at dawn, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., on holy hour? And why is it that you hide behind thugs, military personnel, police personnel? Look, there's another message which went viral within this same period. Quote, if anyone has property in the Labone or Cantonments area, please be vigilant. Our families within a 150-meter radius are actively fighting. 4 families within a 150-meter radius are actively fighting land guards. These are the cases I know of. A house on Sitole Road, Morning Star to Kofi Baku area, was wrecked 2 weeks ago and leveled on Sunday morning. The family owes no one, renewed their lease last year, and don't know the perpetrators. They had to have been at least 60 well-coordinated people, armed policemen, armed thugs, with their faces covered, and a whole army of men on bikes who arrived, tore down the house, and hauled the debris in less than 4 hours. They claim to be from the office of the vice president. Just like this gentleman.
Well, that has also been denied, is it not?
It's one thing to see stuff like this in WhatsApp videos and a completely different ball game to watch it live. I had the opportunity to go through land guard documents last night. It is scary to see which agencies were involved. If I had seen those documents earlier, I would have given up in despair. The official documents these people have to seize and demolish people's property is scary. We are talking with the criminals. We need to get more organized and stronger. I mean, what's happening? And you see, don't lose sight of the fact that as we speak, politically exposed persons are still on rampage and are totally taking over a lot of these prime lands at very, very ridiculous prices. If you have followed my latest serialization, I have been putting out parliamentary oversight findings on the Lawales, the Cantonments area. Now, if you look at the history of that land, this is land that the colonialists acquired for the state, the Gold Coast era, since the 31st day of December 1947. This land is approximately 92.49 acres, situated at cantonments. President Kufuor, when we were approaching the Ghana at 50 celebrations, then decided that he will hive off a portion, and this is land that by 1957, the state had purchased the land for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. So that's why it's called the La Wireless Enclave. So in 2006, President Kufuor decided to develop about 30 acres called the AU Village to host visiting heads of states for the Ghana at 50 celebrations. Then, on the 6th day of September 2019, under President Akufo-Addo, there was an announcement that the rest of the land, the remaining land, is going to be returned to the original landowners. That is about 61.7 acres. The records I have here from the Lands Commission reveals. So that was the announcement, that they are returning the lands. It turns out that about 12.5 acres was kept off, taken away from the original landowners. And what has been going on? Politically exposed persons have been distributing that amongst themselves.
The 12.5 acres?
Yes, the 12.5 acres.
And that was not part of the 60 that was reported?
It was, yes, so they took that from the 61.7 acres.
I see.
Now, when you go through the documents, you will be shocked at how much these lands are being sold for. A plot of land, these politically exposed persons, at cantonments, they were asked to pay only 183,752 Ghana cedis. Have all the documents. 183,752 Ghana cedis. Less than 184,000 cedis.
For one plot.
A plot of land at cantonments. Can you believe that? Meanwhile, go to the open market today. You'll be lucky to get $700,000, not cedis. It's currently it's between $700,000 and $1.2 million.
That's for just a 70 by 100 size land in cantonments.
And politically exposed persons.
You say politically exposed?
Paying 183,000 cedis. And I've serialized the list. Indeed, over the last few days, the governor of the central bank, who is on the list, says that others have benefited. He has done nothing wrong. He intends to keep the land. I mean, incredible.
He went through the process to get it. He's paid for it.
What process? Look, one of the major challenges that the Ghanaian people have with this transaction is that they don't follow due process. They are never advertised. Never. Look, I have had top MPP officials who ask me that, this is where do they even sell them? Where, ask Honorable Boabia someone who is closer to them than, whether he ever even hears about this. It's not advertised. It is not open. It is not subjected to any transparent competitive process. It's not. And then look at the values. So the Ghanaian people are losing on all fronts. So we are losing the land. And already this is a country that we are struggling to find land for national projects. You heard the president not too long ago in Parliament explaining to the country why he could not meet his Agenda 111 deadlines. That land was a major issue. And yet, the few we have left, so we're losing the land, we are also not getting value for money. And if you look at the list, you can just tell what is going on. So, the MPP Women's Organizer, KJ Mfua, purchased his from the President 31st August 2022. The then Minister for Tourism, Ibrahim Mohamed Awal, he also purchased his from the President on the 30th of November 2020. The Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Yedu Adesin, purchased his from the President on 31st August 2022. LC Aduawaji, the Deputy Governor. Purchase heads 27 August 2020. Max Opoku Afari, the other Deputy Governor, 31st August 2022. Joseph Bwanhi Edu, the CEO of Cocoa Board. Purchase his from the President on 30th October 2020. Dr. Janet Ampedufo, Chairperson of Presidential Emoluments Committee. Purchase his 29th June 2023. Kwabna Mante Jekte Nyako, the President's appointed board member at the Ghana Airport Company, 22nd October 2022. Ansem Ransford Ajete Sowa. Purchase his 14th October 2020. Anna Sariodro, former MPP Women's Organizer, Holland Chapter. Purchase his 25th February 2021. Ken Oforiata's Enterprise Assurance, 15 December 2023. Kwesi Etua, the President's then appointed chairperson to the SIC board, 14th October 2020. Madame Georgina Wood, 15 October 2020. I mean, what is going on? What is going on? And you see, I have just moved to another enclave. And in the coming days, I'll be serializing that as well. And you will be shocked.
Which enclave is this?
I mean, I can give you a hint. The new cleared and his land that was for agric purposes. It's near the Elwak area. You see the Gifford Road? Yes. You see that there's some major developments going on there. You will be amazed. So, I mean, despite the outcry, the outrage, they are not even bothered. You know the other discovery I've made? And this is exclusive to you. I will be putting out the details in the next few days. Are you aware that somebody has gone to the Lands Commission to go and redemarcate the Ghana Trade Fair company lands?
Ghana Trade
Fair. And we have lost 11 acres.
I've seen some development going on there.
Yes, we have lost some. It has shrunk. What belongs to Ghana, to the state, is shrunk by 11 acres. And it was done on the 2nd of September 2020.
The Ghana Airports...
Ghana Trade Fair. Yes. We have lost 11 acres.
The buildings have been demolished.
Yes, but the land, yes. We've lost 11 acres. I mean, look, everywhere. Look, there are calls coming from Tamale, from Ho, from Sekendi, from Navrongo. I mean, you wonder what is happening. Look, is Ghana not going to remain a state? Are we not going to have the need to develop? Are we not going to have need for land to build more factories, more hospitals, more schools?
So 11 acres of the trade fair
land.
Somebody has gone to the land commission.
They've done
11 acres.
Redemarcation. Yes. On the 2nd of September 2020. Yes, 2nd of September 2020. And 11 acres gone. Nobody knows what. So they have to tell us what they are going to do with that 11 acres.
So doing trade fair redevelopment project. That's what was communicated, is it not? And in fact, I drove by not too long ago. I've seen some huge metals being put up on one part of it. And we are already asking questions as to what exactly was going on. You say 11 acres has been...
Yes, 11 acres.
Based on the records at the Lands Commission.
Yes.
I see. And this by an individual.
Well, it's not clear who did it. They've done a variation, 2nd September 2020. 11 acres.
I see.
11 acres gone after this variation that they have done. So it's terrible what is going on. And that is why, look, in this matter, I think that we have not celebrated my colleagues on the MPP side who are joining hands with me to sponsor the Protection of State Assets Bill. I want to celebrate them this morning. MPP MPs Kweku Kwating, the Honorable Yves Norte of Tema, Paul Chumberima of Doma, and Dr. Dumako Kisi, the Anyaso Utum MP, who have joined hands with me. Yes, it's a bipartisan bill. And I must celebrate the Honorable Namomo, the Honorable Gakpe, you know, and the Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu on our side, working together on this bill. Because look, a new breed of politicians are saying that this cannot continue. There are some who are quick to say that, oh, let's go sometime in history, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And there are others who say that, oh, let us also allow this to continue so that when it gets to our turn, we can take advantage. We can also benefit. I am glad that increasingly we are seeing a coalition of decent-minded politicians who are saying that, look, enough is enough. This cannot be allowed to continue. And are joining hands to have legislation. And in doing that, let me also celebrate the NDC manifesto. I think I've looked at all the manifestos. The only manifesto that comprehensively deals with this canker is the NDC manifesto. And President Mahama deserves a lot of plaudits. He has said, one, none of his appointees, if you want to buy a state asset, don't accept an appointment. No appointee is going to be allowed, no government official, no politically exposed person. He stated clearly in the manifesto. He has said that he will pass legislation. So it means that these are private members' bill. If we don't even finalize it, there is hope that a Mahama presidency will sign this bill into law. And all state assets are going to be protected from because the research shows that if you take away the politically exposed persons, more than 80% of these state assets will be protected because it's the politically exposed persons who have access. And you see, the unconscionability. You are giving these assets, protect them for us. Protect them. Make sure they are safe for us. And then you are just taking them, looting them for yourselves. I am also excited.
And while we round up on this, I want to ask a question.
No, just quickly. Yes. Just quickly. You see, the manifesto, the NDC manifesto is also talking about a state assets registry. So that all our state assets are going to be published, they're going to be online, everybody will know. Because you see, this whole state capture thrives under a culture of secrecy, of darkness. Do you know that since 3rd February 2022, we've been asking the lands minister, give us a list of state lands. At least, what do we have left? More than 2.5 years. It's been such a tussle, such a hassle.
To know the list of the state lands?
Yes.
The ones left or the ones that have been sold already?
Exactly. And it's they can't tell Parliament. So almost 3 years. So we have been asking, Works and Housing Minister, we want the full list of bungalows that we have. Because under so-called Accra redevelopment policy, these bungalows are just going like that. Even the judiciary has complained in judgments about how public servants, including judges, are being dislodged under the so-called Accra redevelopment policy. Will you believe that we don't have the list up to now? This country doesn't know how many bungalows. Can you believe that? And yet, when it is time to sell, to do Accra redevelopment, to hive off portions to so-called private developers, we know where the bungalows are.
This latest one you mentioned about the trade fair is generated a lot of conversation online right now. That 11 acres of that trade fair land already somebody has gone to take it over at the Lands Commission. And after all of this, you see, because you've outlined a number of these cases and these cantonment lands sold for ridiculously low prices, 183,000 for a plot. After this, what has to be done if this is wrong and in fact not accepted? What is the process to correct this misnomer that has happened? Because we've talked about it, we've discussed it, but then what next? And that's the question that I'm getting from a lot of people. Even every time when you come, so after the expose, then what next? Zablakwa.
So, very brilliant question. And from the work that we are doing in Parliament, it is clear to our caucus that we need a comprehensive national probe on all of these acquisitions, this land grab, which is happening all over the place. We need a commission of inquiry to look into it. And we are glad that incoming President Mahama has pledged that. Look, it must happen, and it must happen quick and fast. And I am also particularly delighted that incoming President Mahama is talking about ORA, the Operation Recover or Loot. So those who are engaged in this and those who are in the queue should know that the day of reckoning is coming.
Right.
Buyer beware. Because that inquiry, and you see, people think that it is far-fetched. They forget our recent history. Professor Mills did a similar thing. People forget. Where the foreign ministry is today, many people have forgotten that all those lands had been sold. Airport residential. Professor Mills came and said, look, it wasn't transparent, it wasn't advertised, you didn't pay fair market value, so please come back for your money, all of you.
So there's some precedence to that.
So there's precedent. So those who are engaged in this, should know. And those who think that they can go and use that 11 acres of airport, Ghana trade fair land, which has become available. And they should know that buyer beware. There is no guarantee that under these opaque circumstances, you are going to keep these properties.
Okay. So that's a quick one on this one, because then we'll round up with someone like Dr. Ablako, who has to run to another equally important issue. Because we are confronted with a situation where, and I know that this is of concern to you as well, because when you hear such values of lands being sold in prime areas, I'm sure that if you had heard it, maybe if it was going through the right process, you would also be interested. But it certainly comes as a concern if these things are not done openly, and then it raises questions about what could have been done right and what has to be done to correct some of these issues that are going on, to the detriment of you and I. So,
let me say a good morning to your viewers. And Alfred, we need to put this conversation in context. And the context is the breakdown of law and order, because over the years, governments simply haven't been accountable for the policy outcomes that they choose to embark on. What is happening now in the land grab situation is a degeneration, because no rules or framework was put in place and respected. So people have had access. If you go through the records, Accra wasn't always like this. The beginnings of Accra was Jamestown and forest in between, Accra Newtown and forests in there.
Yeah.
So infilling has been with us since the 60s, if the research is right. But more or less, it was really codified in the Rawlings years, in the 1990s, when there was this aggressive infilling policies were developed. So the infilling process is actually by law. It is supposed to be managed by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. But here we have a situation where the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is confronted by two challenges they have woefully failed at: land grabs in Accra and Galamsey.
Yeah.
Land and natural resources. I think the least we deserve is some accountability. I think the least we deserve is a minister who says, I can't cope, so I've resigned. Yes, accountability must, it is the lack of action. It is the lack of accountability that is supporting the impunity, so that something that is supposed to be by law, so that people come forward and go through a process and are granted something transparently, now becomes a midnight situation, because you go in there and you take it and nobody will ask you a question. And the person who is sending you in there is the person who is supposed to actually protect the place. The person who has power to take care of the place is the person who is using people in the dark to take what doesn't belong to them, what belongs to everybody else. So it's a matter of accountability. How do you ensure accountability? How do you enforce? And it depends on the leadership. If the president has failed, if he's minister for lands and natural resources has failed in the two key areas his ministry is supposed to be working at, I think the least the people of Ghana deserve, as a first step, is for the minister himself to account for that by losing his office. And then the other accountability processes, I believe, can follow. This is sheer gratuitous abuse. And people are helpless. Well, the people who you're supposed to complain to are the ones who are being, who are attacking you. Yeah. The people you're supposed to complain to are attacking you. So how do you deal with such a situation if the people don't resort to their rights to insist on accountability? Somebody must be held accountable. And you see, recently I'm beginning to worry that Mr. President, who has a long, remarkable history in law enforcement, human rights, he's one of the, if not the most quoted lawyer with constitutional law cases. The last time we counted, we got 68 cases that he's been directly involved in that have shaped the legal history of this country. And now he's helpless. He's helpless when the most important intergenerational assets we have are under attack. Because land within Accra that is owned by the state is intergenerational. It has purposes beyond those of us who are here now. If you are divesting that land, the results to the state must benefit generations to come. Okay. So you must either sell it at a good price and do something else with the money, or keep it for other generations. If you go to Galamsey, it's an intergenerational situation.
We'll deal with that. It's one of the issues.
Yes.
Ahead of
so I'm saying that, why is the president looking helpless? Is it deliberate? Is he not on top of the facts? Or is he complicit? Because you have to look at the factors. It's either one of three things. Either he is deliberately keeping quiet, he doesn't know what is going on, which is worse. To be president and not see what is going on, not know what is going on. And they know, because they've had the temerity to issue denial letters, flimsy denial letters, and giving excuses for people who are out there using their name to do funny things. Or else, he is directly complicit. He's benefiting from what's happening. That's the only inference we can draw. And if he's benefiting from what is happening, then he's breaking his oath to Ghanaians, because he swore an oath to protect all of us, to protect the public purse. The public purse includes all the national assets that we have. What is going on now is obscene. This country is broke. We are at IMF. And yet everywhere you pass in Greater Accra, choice areas, huge buildings are going up. What inference can you make there? That beyond the grab, individuals, faceless individuals, are well-resourced enough to put up skyscrapers when the government can't pay its bills. So where are the tax monies? Where are those people making those monies that the government doesn't get enough of that flow to pay its bills? Who are those who are behind this thing? So why can't we find them? It's because they are the same people who have to find themselves. They are protecting themselves from us because of the impunity. Mr. Ocansey, where the situation is, and that is why I support the labor unions on the other side. The same thing must come through on this, and the bipartisan approach, where MPP parliamentarians are involved, is fantastic, because we need to relook at how we manage our state in terms of its assets and liabilities. If we can't tell the state of our assets, then all we can do is continue to borrow. A lot of the borrowing we are doing, we could have been leveraging state assets. If we knew how much land we had in Accra that belongs to the state, and we had it priced at fair market value, we wouldn't need to go to the IMF. We could securitize our lands. We wouldn't need to go to the IMF. If a half acre, or if an acre is being sold to private developers for 100, 200, less than 200,000 cedis, convert that into dollars, current rate, and let's see, 200,000 cedis. Who is a smart mathematician here? My math was terrible.
Doing it by the current rate of 16 cedis. Yes. That is less than $12,000.
Less than $12,000. Yeah. And that whole acre which is being sold for $12,000, is worth $4.5 million on the open market. Well, you divide an acre into 4, and each piece is worth over $1 million. So isn't this robbery? This is state-sponsored robbery. You blame a land guard who is just collecting a few thousand to go and be violent because they are unemployed or they are otherwise or they don't fear.
Well, that cannot also be justified.
No, I'm not justifying land guardism. I'm saying that we are all being used, all of us, because the institutions that are supposed to do the right thing are being manipulated and used against the rest of us, and we don't seem to have a cure. And that is the danger. Because when you don't have a cure officially, the cure tends to become ex officio. And that is when you have people exploding into the streets and otherwise. And that is why you have all the labor unions up in arms. They should add state capture to the grievances. Okay. Yeah. They are up in arms about Galamsey. They should add state capture to the these land capture things to the grievances. Why should you sell an acre of land in cantonments for $12,000? That's
183,750 cedis.
$12,000. Okay, Ghanaians appreciate it when you talk in dollars because they know the difference. Okay. Because they melt dollars. $12,000. Okay. And it is worth on the open market $4.5 million. So who gets the balance of $400 and something $1,000 that accrues when that thing is commercialized? Please, this is not fair. One can't do this to Ghanaians. It is not fair. And officialdom must take responsibility. The president must act. In the case of the land grab, in the case of Galamsey, the president is responsible. Heads must roll as a start. Right. If heads are not rolling, then it means that there's complicity. We can infer that there's complicity. That's why heads are not rolling.
Okay, and this is what point where Professor Ransford Jampo is joining us in a bit. He's a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon, says a situation like this, he says if lecturers knew that land like this was being sold at this price, I mean,
they will have put in a bid. Well, why not?
Anyway,
look, I totally agree with my senior brother, Yabu Abiyasamwa, that heads must rule. And this state capture discussion, Galamsey is part of it. I have been doing some work on the Ghana mining repository, looking at small-scale licenses that have been granted. 8 years under Mills Mahama, 8 years under President Akufo-Addo. And I am shocked at what is going on. So this is the Mills Mahama 8 years. 56, and it's an open source, open database.
Where did you get this information
The
from?
Ghana repository for mining. So all the mining leases
this is
are there.
online
It's online. You can find it. Only 56, 8 years. 8 years, Mills Mahama. 56.
Publicly verifiable documents.
Publicly verified. 56 mining leases. Then I decide to download President Akufo-Addo's own. I almost collapsed. Look at it. 1,503.
Mining leases.
Mining leases in just 7.5 years. Are you aware that as we are having this Galamsey brouhaha now, the justifiable anger, outrage, upheaval, because we face an existential threat. What is happening is mass murder. They are driving all of us to the cemeteries. They are killing us. One would have thought that at least these licenses will be suspended. It is going on. I found out that on September 4, one day, they gave out 12 licenses. One day.
The 4th of September.
Between August and September this year, this last few weeks, last few days actually, they have given out 38 licenses. Look, in the midst of this uproar.
And this is information that's...
It's all online. Viewers can go to the 38. Ghana Mining Repository. 38 between August and September. 38. It's like Moka Krana more. Because look, all the environmental activists have said, I listened to your colleague, the outstanding young journalist who's been taking up this crusade for years, Erastus, who says that, look, now there's no difference between the licensed ones and the unlicensed, the legal and the illegal. They are all polluting, they are all contaminating. They are all mining in the river, in forest bodies. 1,503. And between August and September, they are still giving out licenses. Look, what is the rational thing to do under this climate? A responsible government. And don't forget, these licenses are signed by the Minister for Lands. Shouldn't the responsible thing to happen now is a suspension at least? The Ghanaian people are demanding organized labor. UTAG, TUC, the Apostolic Fathers, Christian Council, Chief Imam, Muslim Council, everybody, every recognizable association is saying that declare a state of emergency. They say they will not. At least halt matters and let's rethink, let's review, let's reevaluate. You are still giving out licenses. And you see, when I put out these figures yesterday, some of them are saying, oh, this shows that they are more democratizing and that the best way to handle Galamsey is to bring everybody within the legal net. The question that we must ask is that this so-called legal net, how has that, the period that we were very careful, you are doing 12 a day. If you look at the breakdown, look, a whole year, 2009, only 3 licenses. 2010, only 3. 2011, only 4. 2012, only 7. 2013, only 5. 2014, only 7. 2015, only 4. 2016, only 23. A whole year. Your record, actually in 2020, and I've noticed a trend, in election years is so high. 2020, they gave us 780. Can you believe that? 780 licenses. Between 2023 and 2024, already, they have done 390.
I see.
So the rational thing to do, this business of, oh, we are bringing everybody within the bracket. How is it that when you claim that you are bringing everybody, you've given out over 1,500 mining licenses? That is when we are even seeing more illegality, more destruction of our water bodies, of our environment. So it tells you that it is total hogwash. That attempt to rationalize, it doesn't make sense. When licenses were few, we didn't see these levels of devastation. Now that we have over 1,500, and there's, look, the next exercise, next week, watch out, Alfred, watch out. And we are, already, the Fourth Estate has done some work. And you've seen the politically exposed people, mayors, parliamentary candidates, chairman, party executives. Stand by for more on that. The politically exposed people who are getting these licenses and who are not following responsible mining rules.
You have more information on that.
More information coming up next week, and you will be shocked. I mean, what is going on in this country? Why? 1,510, and it continues. Only the last few days, they are signing like there's no tomorrow. I mean, look. Between
August and September.
Look. I've been saying that. If the Otumfo, the Venerable Otumfo, and long may he reign, admire him so much, great leader. He is distooling chiefs. We haven't voted for them. We haven't given them our taxes. They don't control our national security apparatus. Menchia is not in charge of our military, our police, and yet they are taking such bold decisions, distooling chiefs. And up to now, I mean, the whole world, if they hear that you are faced with this disaster, this mass murder going on, and yet not a single DC has been fired. I mean, can you believe that? No regional minister has been fired. Nobody is taking responsibility. The lands minister is still at post. He says he won't declare a state of emergency. He says that those of us who are calling for action are being extreme. I mean, so look, they want all of us to die before they act, and they are still issuing licenses. At least, can the president ask the lands minister, the minerals commission, that they should halt all new licenses?
They said between August and September, how many?
38
have been, and this is publicly available.
Publicly available. Go on the website of the minerals commission, the Ghana mining repository. It's there.
I am actually there now. And I see that list.
And don't forget don't forget that these licenses is 10 years old. Some are 30 years. That's what we are talking about. The duration.
Wow.
Yes, 30 years.
Samuel Okuja to Ablakwa, I honestly, I know that you have to run into something else, but I do appreciate
But I have to quickly,
coming.
if you give me a minute.
Yes.
I'm very, very outraged. I mean, these people, they just will give you high blood pressure and they'll just kill you. Look, I'm outraged about our blacklisting by CAF. So I decided to do some digging, some more parliamentary oversight. And what I have discovered is so shocking. Look, many people had thought, and I was also in that school of thought, that we have been blacklisted. We now have to go and play our matches in Togo or Ivory Coast. As for Nigeria, we don't want to go because we fear that big brothers and sisters will tease us so much that we can't even play on the pitch. I also thought that, oh, it's just negligence. It's just incompetence. And that we didn't even lose money in the process. Just that our officials, the government, the Minister for Youth and Sports, the NSA officials forgot to do their work and to invest in renovations and stadium rehabilitation. To the shock of my life, I've discovered that no, that's not, it's worse than that. Actually, copious, colossal, staggering amounts of money has been pumped every year into stadium renovation. So far, the documents I have intercepted, over 85 million cedis. I'll read them to you and I'll leave copies with you. 14 July 2023. This is a letter signed by Honorable Dr. John A. Kuma. God bless his soul. May his soul continue to rest in peace. He issued a warrant for the release of 41.9 million Ghana cedis for the rehabilitation of the Esipon Sports Stadium. Esipon, 41.9 million. Only last year. Talk to your sports journalists. I have been there. 41.9 million. No show. At least Esipon should have saved us today. I mean, such a monumental international disgrace. Then let me come to the other document I've intercepted. Baba Yara Sports Stadium, where we had the total embarrassment. Baba Yara, are you aware that another contract of 21.1 million, and this is a letter signed by Frank Quist, Chief Director, awarded to a company called Javkier, 21.1 million.
When was this?
27th March 2020. And I've tracked the payments. I have all the payment vouchers here. They've all been paid promptly. Then you come to Accra Sports Stadium. I have here a company called Cook Bay, another intercepted document. They have paid them 22.4 million.
Wow.
You know, over 85 million. And you know what I went for the incorporation documents of these companies. And guess what?
Right.
Two of the companies are owned by the president's relatives, Kelvin Oforiatta. I mean, Cook Bay and the other one, Sisden. So if your family will make money out of our stadiums, at least do the work. At least don't bring this monumental international disgrace upon us.
Wow.
This president must be impeached. President Akufo-Addo must be impeached. And I hope that colleagues in parliament, including MPP MPs, will join. Look, we've never had such a horrible president.
Yes,
he must be impeached.
I mean, you say you're leaving these copies with me.
Yes, I'll leave copies with you.
Because it's a matter that will sink our teeth into.
Over 85 million Ghana cedis. We've spent all of this money, well. and yet we've earned a ban.
It's a worrying development in there. But thank you for this. And kindly leave that with me. You're still live here on Key Point. Also on 3FM 92.7. Thank you very much, Samuel Okuja Tuablakwa. Thank you. This is the Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency and also the chair of the Government Assurances Committee of Parliament. And this is a matter that I know a number of you, in fact, lots of you, Sports Nation, are interested in. And so trust that we would get into a lot more of it here on Key Point. But getting into the next matter, because of your passion, you still even want to stay. But moving on to another issue, Samuel Okuja Tuablakwa has to leave us to attend to another equally important matter. The Electoral Commission has been explaining some developments that led to errors identified partly by the NDC as well. There was a press conference that was addressed by Dr. Bosamanassare sometime last week. We'll start the conversation from that point and what Samuel Tete also said this week about the NDC's concerns they had raised about the limited voter register that was exhibited, and then those errors that were identified. That's our next issue here on Key Point. But bear in mind, I have about 850 of your messages on this, just these matters we've talked about. We'll get into it. And then also the concerns that you have raised. Some of you have also sent me documents about some lands. We'll get into that as well. But this is Dr. Bosamanassare. Take a look.
The Commission is currently investigating. While the Commission does not have any evidence to believe that this occurrence is widespread, we have instituted investigations to ascertain if similar incidents occurred elsewhere beyond the reported case in the Tamale South and Sagneregu constituencies. Any such transfers will be reversed. Following this incident, the Commission has introduced a liveliness check in the verification process, which is a feature designed to ensure that the biometric data being captured is from a live, present human being and not from a spoof source, such as photograph, which is what was done in this case. The liveliness check has since been built into the system to prevent any such future occurrence.
Audit of the register. The question is, what purpose will a forensic audit serve? The NDC's detection of discrepancies with the provisional voters register is not new. As the Commission has maintained, that is the essence of the exhibition exercise. It is to correct discrepancies. This is what is being done, as has been the case in the past. It is not new. Then, the Commission is of the view that the forensic audit is not what is needed at this time. It is premature. 11. The Commission wishes to inform the general public that the voters' exhibition exercise in itself is an audit. The exhibition offers an avenue for the auditing of the register. It unearths discrepancies and allows for prescribed legal processes to correct the discrepancies. Perhaps this is the first time the NDC has taken interest in the register. Otherwise, one would have expected them to call for such an audit of the 2016 register, which contained photos of plants and animals representing voters. It is important. The Commission strongly believes that the surest way to attaining a credible and robust register is not through demonstrations. There is simply nothing to demonstrate about. This is because the Commission has repeatedly requested the data on discrepancies from the NDC to no avail. We are of the view that the stance taken by the NDC will not produce a credible register. The Commission is of the identified investigate told the NDC during the meeting that it would conduct a thorough investigation and report on the issue they had detected within a week. Why are they refusing to submit the data to enable the EC to investigate and provide a report. The EC believes that the best way to ascertain the credibility and integrity of the 2024 voters register is the discussion table, not on the streets. Taking to the streets will not ensure a credible register. It will only cause tensions and suspicions which are unwarranted.
We want an independent audit of the system, a commission that is interested in its own credibility. If you don't have anything to hide, why are you running away? On the 17th of this month, the NDC is embarking on a massive nationwide demonstration in all 16 regional capitals. Descend on the Electoral Commission offices, and we in Accra will descend to the headquarters and present further petitions as to why we think that they should conduct themselves in a manner that will guarantee peaceful, free, and fair elections.
The Commission is currently investigating. While the Commission does not have any evidence to believe that this occurrence is widespread, we have instituted investigations to ascertain if similar incidents occurred elsewhere beyond the reported case in the Tamale South and Sagnerego constituencies. Any such transfers will be reversed. Following this incident, the Commission has introduced a liveliness check in the verification process, which is a feature designed to ensure that the biometric data being captured is from a live, present human being and not from a spoof source, such as photograph, which is what was done in this case. The liveliness check has since been built into the system to prevent any
In a place where conviction meets compassion, Heritage Christian University College stands tall, shaping futures and societies. Here, creativity isn't just a concept, it's the fuel for social change. But it's not just about entrepreneurship, it's about nurturing a spirit of service and community. We instill in our students the values of leadership and giving back. Our graduates don't just end degrees, they embody entrepreneurship, philanthropy, ethics, and global competence. Heritage is where innovation thrives amidst a serene environment, offering unparalleled experiences. Come, be part of our journey where creativity and community unite to shape a better tomorrow. Heritage Christian University College, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
Season. Enjoy the best football moments with your guy, GoTV. Get your GoTV today to enjoy all the best football live on SuperSport. GoTV.
The winner of TV3 Mentor Season 12, Bino Ioni!
Standing ovation. Richie, give me thumbs up. I'm like, Wagwania. Blessings is all I see. Hear me say glory. Let's go take you there.
Mentor 13, coming soon. Ghana, Africa. Are you ready? The countdown to the most explosive Afro experience of the year has begun. It's the 3FM Afro Connect 2024, happening live on Saturday, 21st September at the monumental Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. Come and experience the infectious energy of Africa's great people and the Jollof War. You don't want to miss this epic celebration of Africa. Feel the pulse, feel the vibe of Africa. Are you a vendor or international exhibitor? This is your moment. Come and showcase your unique products to thousands of culture lovers from around the world. Call 0532 200 927 or 0531 100 927 right now. 3FM Afro Connect 2024, where Africa meets the rest of the world.
Proudly sponsored by Fortune Rice, Frito Oil, Bill's Microcredit, Fidelity Bank, Flora Tissue, and Dewa Chop Money.
And powered by 3FM with a media jet.
Spotlight is on. Get ready for your best Saturday evening entertainment show.
Welcome to Showbiz 360.
Where we serve you interviews, dance and music, educative, and so much fun content.
Who feed the cow when they eat the lizard? What's the meaning? No one not china the aqua drunk club.
Every Saturday, we bring you your favorite celebrities, content creators, and people who keep you entertained on your screens daily. Do not miss with your host, Giovanni Caleb.
Best of entertainment right here, live on TV.
This and every Saturday at exactly 8 p.m. is Showbiz 360.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Showbiz 360 show on Saturdays at 8 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
Betway. Winner big.
Cowbell Coffee.
Today is my day. I will bust your brain. You will see. Can't make an omelette. Storm is over. Storm is over. What is Tracy or Delkey's favorite way to show affection? Kissing. What is that memorable gift that Kwame or Judah has given you? Birthday cake, drink. The Lord has done it finally.
Here to Win shows Sundays at 4 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Kivo 4-in-1 Curry Mix, Kivo 100% natural hot pepper, Heaven Black Mosquito.
Welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and on DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. We are on a number of radio stations across the country in the Northern region, Upper West, Western region, Eastern region. I'll go through all of that as we go on. Joining me in studio, in addition to Honorable Yababian Samoa, Sami Jemfi is National Communications Officer for the NDC. Mr. Jemfi, good morning. Welcome. Also, a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon, and he's a governance expert, and also the president of the University of Ghana chapter of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, Professor Ransford Jampo. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning. So, my response to your greetings. Somebody says we won't develop your area if you don't vote for our party. Another person says, I've taken you to Australia before, so vote for me, I'll take you to America. And then ensure that you get free exit from school. And then another person says that God sleeps at night. Are these the campaign messages that we are supposed to be sending to people to win their votes? God sleeps at night. So which of the nights? Today, as we are here this morning, I think in China, they are sleeping. So God is sleeping in China and is awake in Ghana. Is that what? So last week, we went for all night. And when we were praying, it was all an exercise in futility because God was asleep. Vote for me and let me take you to Australia. Is that the message let me take you to America. Is that a message that we want to put out there to the youth? When we are praying against brain drain, we'll give you free exit so that they go and use it for what? Is that a campaign message? How did we get here? And how did we select this caliber of people who now appear to be messageless and desperate for political power? I think that Ghana, instead of democratically, progressing, it appears that we are retrogressing on all fronts. I don't understand. And now we are being told that we don't have a place to play our football unless we go and play in Togo. Togo. We don't have fields, football fields. We don't have standardized football fields, so we have to go and play our football under President Nana Akufo-Addo. Is that the reward to Ghanaians when he told us that vote for Montu Abama menamembe Ghana Mampening Kessie? Is it, what is Mampening Kessie doing? I mean, under your term? Wow. And Galamsey. Well, we'll come there. Look, please let everybody know that we are not going to be dialoguing with anybody.
We will get there.
That they have gone to put in place some interministerial whatever. We are supposed to be going to sit down and be talking.
We'll get there.
We said place a moratorium on it. We are not dialoguing. It's not about your typical dialogue. We would not. We are dying.
Professor Rams, for example, in fact, he was seated here earlier, got in about an hour ago, listening to what Samuel Okudzeto Oblakwa had to say about this matter. And that document, I'll do a copy for you so you see it. Dr. Joshua Zato is a governance and policy analyst, a member of the MPP, as well, an electoral. Dr. Joshua Zato, good morning, welcome.
Thank you. I don't think the other part was necessary to do, but thank you.
Right. Also, Benjamin Banobio is the Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission. Mr. Banobio, good morning. Welcome to Key Point.
Thank you, and good morning.
And just for the benefit and development of this democracy that we're practicing, we had to do well to bring all the persons on the table on this matter, and especially the Electoral Commission. So, Mr. Banobio, to make the time to be with us, the Director of Electoral Services, answering specific questions about the issues that have been raised. And so I want to start off with you on this. First of all, the concerns that have come, Mr. Banobio, about the series of errors or mistakes that have occurred in a number of these exercises the Electoral Commission has undertaken. I've spoken to the likes of CDD, not just the NDC, but CDD and others, who have specifically stated that that has impacted on the trust for the Commission going into this election. You know, trust is crucial in every electoral process. Is the Commission concerned about this kind of sentiment, about this dwindling trust that you're experiencing?
Thank you very much. Electoral Commission as election management body is so much concerned when it comes to issues of trust. But as a commission, we go on all our ways to ensure that we work professionally and we perform our duties in that order to ensure that if it's the register, we come out with an all-inclusive and credible voters roll. You see, after the registration exercise, we are compelled to exhibit the voters register. And in the course of the registration, there's a possibility for some errors to occur. Because they are human beings, people that we have engaged who register the people. So if names are spelled wrong, and even in transporting the data onto our database, there's a possibility of data loss. there's a possibility of a file being corrupted. So in such a situation, when the register is completed, such people will not have their names on the register. So in the course of the registration, so many things could happen. And we use the exhibition to correct these anomalies. So during the exhibition, we encourage everyone to be there. And fortunately for us this time around, we did not only base our trust on only the voter. We explored other means. We engaged 4 different approaches in detecting errors and correcting them. Previously, the voter will have to go to the exhibition center, look at his or her details, and indicate that my details are not correct. You need to correct it for me. Or I have been omitted, you need to do inclusion for me. This time around, apart from the voter going to the center to check his details, the exhibition officers were also tasked to practically go through the register page by page and identify any issue that needs to be resolved. Then they report to us for the resolution. Secondly, the second level, we have provided an electronic version of the voters register in every district office of the Electoral Commission. We call it the register viewer. Officers were tasked. They have been uploaded onto their desktop to go through and then identify issues for resolution. Aside that, our regional officers and their deputies on their monitor were also tasked to do so. Then when we come to the head office, we have a whole team that is also dedicated to going through the electronic version of the register to identify issues that need to be resolved. And so most of the issues that were identified, we resolved them. And as we are talking now, all the issues identified have been resolved. NDC and other political parties and other organizations are all our critical stakeholders. We are happy when they come on board with such issues for redress. They indicated that they wanted to meet us. We accepted to meet them. They came and gave us 5 areas that they said there were some anomalies or irregularities with the register. So they took us through. They mentioned them, for instance, missing names, and they will mention a figure. We have detected for missing name about 3,900 and something figure. Then they will mention transfer without a PAP. Then they will mention a figure. So when they have gone through this, they showed us a few of them, about 3 or so of such instances. And so we told them, yes, you are welcome. We thank you for your contribution. We'll work on it. We'll look at it, investigate. And then, if they have not been corrected already, we'll effect the necessary corrections. Because when they came, we told them that, yes, we have already identified most of these, and we have gone ahead to ensure that they are corrected. But we thank you for coming. Let us have what you have brought so that we can also investigate. And if they have not been already corrected, we will do that. Because all that the parties and the NDC are looking for is for credible voters register. And as a commission, that is what we are also looking for. Because in our bid to ensure successful election, if you do not get credible and all-inclusive register, we will not be going anywhere. Because if you have a credible voters register, you will have chopped not less than 60% of the success level towards achieving successful election. So we welcome them.
I see.
Incidentally, they told us that when they go to the office, they will get it to us in the evening. But before they left, they told us to also give them what we have discovered so far. And we told them it's an ongoing process. So they should rather let us have this, incorporate into ours, finish everything, then we'll give it to them.
I see. So
they haven't given you their issues.
No, please, they have not given us our issues.
You've explained to a certain point where you had indicated that this was an ongoing process, and so you actually acknowledge the issues that the NDC brought to you, and you're looking into them as well. If you say you're looking into them, does that mean that the EC actually admits that what the NDC pointed out to you was indeed the case and what had happened? Or you said that these issues are not new? Because that was also reported. In fact, that's what an official within the commission said that this is not new. And so the concerns that the NDC were raising really did not warrant, for instance, an audit, a forensic audit for that matter.
Please, let me come in. Let me come in and clarify issues there. I did not say that because it is known, it is not new, we ignore it. No. We said that already we have identified some of these issues. So we thank you for bringing your issues, so for telling us your issues. But let us have it so that we will investigate if we have not already corrected them. Because as indicated, we have corrected a lot of them. So they should let us see, and then we'll investigate. If we have not already corrected them, then we'll go ahead and effect the necessary changes. It's not that we are saying that because it's not new, we don't care. No. We want to have a very clean voters register. So if the NDC is going to support us in that order, they are welcome.
No, so the Posiga official, for instance, and the concerns that were raised in the minority leaders constituency, Jumako Isian constituency, all of those wrong transfers which you addressed at the press conference, you had identified them already before the NDC brought them up?
Yes, please. You see, as I told you, we have established 4-pronged approaches. So before the NDC came, we have identified all these things. We're working on them.
The wrong voter transfers?
The wrong voter transfers. That is Pusiga.
Yes.
Pusiga, what happened was that, you see, our system is said that if you want to do a transfer, you need to go to our various district offices. And every office has a unique password before you can access the transfer facility. And the transfer facility accepts fingerprint verification and facial verification. As at the time that this issue occurred, we have not instituted the liveliness feature into the system.
Why did you not institute the liveliness check? Because if I look at Regulation 22, it's actually very basic. This liveliness check should have been part of the process right from the start, is it not?
Yes. The last time when the NTC came, our IC consultant explained that when the system was being developed at that time, the liveliness check that was at the market was not, it was made with the European specification. So even if you have gone for it, you do not have help us in our bid. But currently, we have the one that has been developed that is good for those of us in this part of the world.
I see. So that was why initially check was developed with European specification.
Yeah. Initially, that was what it was done. But when our system was.
So when did you procure this liveliness check? Because you knew you were going to do an exhibition exercise.
You see,
and so if you get to the point and you say because it was developed with European specifications, you couldn't start the process as required by law with the liveliness check, and you had to then introduce us at some point, that's concerning. Because then everything that would have happened between that period when you did not issue the liveliness check would have actually happened unchecked if it had not been raised, for instance, by the NDC.
You know what? This is a system. And system develops, ICT develops day in, day out. And since we started this registration exercise with this facility since 2020, we have not had such occurrence.
I see.
When this thing happened, then we realized the need for us to go for the liveliness check so that we can use that one to prevent anyone who want to use the photograph as was used to effect transfer. And currently we have done that, but we did not stop there. We went through all the transfer that has been made to ensure that nobody used the same path to effect the transfer, and we did not find any.
I see.
I just want to follow what you are saying. At one point in time, you are saying that the NDC brought some issues to you which you are looking into. At another point, you said they didn't leave the issues with you. I'm confused.
No, don't be confused. What I'm saying that they came to us and presented issues, not that they gave it to us.
Okay.
They said we have found 5 irregularities with the voters' roll.
Yeah.
And they indicated, for instance, missing voters, 3,900 and something, transfer voters. Then they stated them one after the other.
Yes.
Then they showed us a projector. On the projector, they show us some of the issues, examples of them. So we asked them to leave that document with us so that we go through to investigate, which they said they will give it to us when they go back to the office.
I see.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
Okay, I'm sure we'll get an explanation as to why that decision. But then the liveliness check that you procured, when did you procure it?
The moment this issue came and we investigated, and we were able to know that that was what they did, Commission quickly have to take steps in procuring it.
Okay, so it means that you did not have the liveliness check as a feature before the exhibition exercise?
Yes, please.
But you know...
But we got it before the end of the exhibition exercise.
But per Regulation 22, it is supposed to be part of the process right from the beginning, is it not?
That is why I said that ICT keeps on developing. At a stage, if the facility is there, and if it is able to produce what we need, we'll go for it. Yeah, but at that level, when we started, we did not have that liveliness facility there.
But why?
And as I indicated, because that time, the one at the market would not suit our specification.
But you knew you were going to do an exhibition exercise, so what prevented you from procuring it before the exercise?
You see, when challenges come, that is where we go out for either alternatives. If the system is working, it has not broken, you do not change it. It is when such challenges come, then you need to move ahead and get things in place to ensure that it is not abused.
Okay, so, so these are the initial answers to the questions. I'm still going to try and get some clarity on this, why, because there's clear indication of what Regulation 22 says, and this is why I bring in some Jenfi, because there were specific issues that you went to the Electoral Commission with, specific answers that you were seeking. And one of the corrective measures, if it was in place, would have been this liveliness check. Now we are hearing that it was because they had a European specification. They didn't start the process with it, which then gave the Posiga and other places that chance to do illegal transfers. That's the explanation.
The illegal transfer occurred only in Posiga, and there were 38 of such transfers, and we have reversed all of them.
Okay. Mr. Jenfi.
Alfred, you see, this issue is a very, very important issue because it borders on the integrity of the electoral roll, the voters' register, which we all agree is the foundation of free and fair elections. In fact, Mr. Banu Bio has said that producing a credible voters' register, that's 60% of the work relative to the objective, over 60%, right, relative to the objective of having a free and fair election. So it's a very, very important matter. Now, the issues we in the NDC have raised are very important, very crucial to the integrity of the voters' register we'll be using for the 2024 election. And they are very simple issues for everyone to understand. We don't have to make the issues technical at all. You see, everything Mr. Banu Bio has said here vindicates the NDC's demand for a forensic audit into the voters' register and its IT systems. Everything he has said here. In fact, what he has said here is tantamount to a confession of crime. This is self-incrimination evidence. He has put the matters beyond debate and argument. You see, first of all, the issues we have detected, and let me make it clear to you, voter exhibition is not about detecting illegal voter transfers. Voter exhibition, check CI 91, primarily is for the purpose of giving voters the opportunity to check if their particulars on their voter ID cards have been accurately captured in the voters' register. So they go, they show their voter's ID card, they check if their names have been spelled correctly, if their details have been spelled correctly, and so on. That is what exhibition is about. No voter has the capacity to detect illegal transfers on the scale we have detected through a voter exhibition exercise. So when you hear the EC argue that, and the whole essence of voter exhibition is so that we can detect errors. And so what the NDC has found is not strange. They are lying to you. Because the errors we are talking about cannot be detected through voter exhibition. No voter has the capacity to detect that 38 people or 243,000 voters have been wrongly added to a register. So we are not talking about mere errors, which are a function of voter exhibition. You see, the EC has been doing voter registration transfers since 1992. This is not a new phenomenon. Okay? And the EC has always maintained, in fact, you made reference to Regulation 22 of CI 127, the latest law that governs transfers. And the law is clear that you can only do voter transfer when the person who wants to transfer his vote is physically sitting in front of you in the EC district office. You can't transfer somebody in absentia. So when we raise issues about illegal voter transfers to Pusiga, the EC swore and said it is not possible because they have the mechanisms to ensure that unless a voter is physically present, he cannot be transferred without his consent. Then we presented them with the evidence. Bear in mind, these are issues that we detected. Our executives in Tamale South detected, not the EC. The EC who claim that they have 4 levels of investigations detecting errors did not detect it. We detected it. And they denied initially. When we presented the evidence, they could not deny. Then they admitted and said, we will suspend our district director for Pusiga for engaging in this illegal, unauthorized voter transfer. Okay. In fact, that person suspended is even the wrong person because he knows that the officer responsible for transfer is not the EC district director, but the returning officer. So but put that aside. Put that aside. Mm-hmm. Now, how did it happen? They now tell you that, it's because we needed to have a liveliness test as part of the transfer process. But we failed or refused or neglected to put in place that liveliness test. What is the liveliness test? Simply put, a system that only allows for transfer when the person transferring his vote is live, physically present. In the case of Pusiga, those people never went to Pusiga. A mischievous, fraudulent EC returning officer was able to pick their pictures in the register, showed it to the machine, and transferred them illegally. Now these people are now saying that it is after the Pusiga matter happened, after voter transfer had ended, that they have now introduced a liveliness check. Really? Look at this cock and bull story. What is this liveliness test supposed to achieve now? We are done with voter transfer. You have given us a provisional register. So what? You see, you are confessing to either your crass incompetence or the criminal conduct you have engaged in. Because you needed that liveliness test, which has been in the system, not today. How can you be saying on Alfred Ocansey's show this morning that it was recently that you went and bought a fit-for-purpose liveliness test system?
The previous one had European standards.
Can you imagine this? In what country can this happen? You've been given all the resources to provide a fit-for-purpose system for registration, for transfer, and everything. You claim that the register we have and the systems leading to same are robust. Yet you are sitting here confessing that as at the time you were doing voter transfer, you did not have a system that could ensure that what the law provides is actually done. You did not have a system that could ensure that only people who were live at district offices were transferred. And that it is after voter transfer has been concluded, that you have procured the system. For what exactly? Are you listening to yourselves? For what exactly? Because we are done with voter transfer. So, Alfred, commonsensically, if
A common EC returning officer or district officer could sit in Pusiga, a border town somewhere in the Upper East region, and transfer 38 people from Tamale to Pusiga without the people knowing. Can you honestly tell me that that was all they did in terms of those illegal transfers? He's here telling us that they have done their checks. That is the only place it happened. Really? Why should we take your word? Why should we believe that that is the only place that those illegal transfers happened? Because you could not have even detected it, because according to your own word, you did not have the system to detect it. You did not have a liveliness system. What are you talking about? But not just that. Look, we are saying that because of what happened in the case of Pusiga, we must have a forensic audit. Let me demystify that term forensic audit. What are we talking about? We are talking about all political parties nominating IT experts and people who are well versed in the systems for our voters register to sit with reps of the EC to investigate, because the register is in an encrypted IT system. And it is only through such an investigation that we can know those who have entered the EC's register, and whether or not they entered those registers, the register at the right time and with authorization, because the system will have the footprints of all those entries. Every electoral management body must be interested in being a fair umpire that all stakeholders have confidence in. So it is in the interest of every electoral management body to be transparent so that stakeholders can have confidence in you. You should even be happy that we are calling for such an exercise, such an investigative exercise. Because if what you are saying is true, that you have corrected all errors and that the register is robust, what's an investigative or audit process will show is that indeed you have done your work, and we will all clap for you. Once you see an electoral management body denying media men from telecasting live their engagement with a political party who have raised issues about the credibility of a register, once you see an electoral management body desperately trying to prevent an investigation into their work, into the credibility of a register that he says has more than 60% bearing on the credibility of the elections we are going to have, then you know that they have something to hide. You should know that they are afraid of something. Look, we have taken time, and in fact, it's an ongoing process, and we are thoroughly investigating, probing the provisional register we have been given. We've realized that aside the Pusiga incident, 3,957 voters who registered in 2023 for this 2024 elections, 3,957. Okay, these were people who registered in 2020. Sorry, their names are in the 2020 register. They have all been deleted from the 2024 provisional register. All of them deleted. The EC says that they wrongfully, and there is nothing like wrongful.
It's an inadvertent.
No. Listen to it too. They say that they wrongfully, but the right word is illegally, transferred those 3,957. When they wanted to restore them back to the register, they say that they mistakenly deleted them. So when we went, we gave them an example. One name, somebody who registered at Tesano, who has been deleted from the register. If he was in the meeting, he can attest to the fact that their IT consultant disputed that fact and said it is not true, it is not possible. He searched his system and said, the guy is in the register. Where is it? We asked, so where is he in the register? Which police station? He mentioned a police station in Volta region.
The Tesano person.
Tesano person. He can attest to that. He can't deny it. So we said, then this problem is even bigger than we think. So that's number one. 3,957 people. And like I told you, the investigation is ongoing. This list is not exhaustive. Then the transfer list is supposed to have only voters who transferred their votes in 2023 for the 2024 election. That figure is supposed to be around 300,000. The register they have given us, the figure is more than 500,000. It is bloated by 243,000.
The transfer between 2023
Yes, no. You see, for every election, voters are allowed to transfer their votes to their new places of abode. Okay, if they have resided there for 12 months preceding the election and so on. So the transfer list for the election must contain the names of those who transferred their names for purposes of the 2024 election alone. And those people, their total number is around 300,000. The EC gives us a transfer list or register with over 500,000 names. We check, and the number is bloated by 243,000, and they have admitted.
That's what is on the screen.
Yes, they have admitted to it.
All right.
Then there are 2,094 other names we have found. These figures are as at the time we met them. People whose names have been transferred, they transferred their votes in 2024. Their names accurately captured in the transfer list. But the law is that once they have transferred their votes from polling station A to B, and their names are in the transfer list for polling station B, at polling station A, where they transfer their votes, their names must be captured in a list called absentee voters list. So that when you go to their original polling stations, you will find their names in the absentee list. They are no longer there. These 2,094 voters, their names are not in the absentee list.
Their names are not in there.
They are not there. Then there's another 15,000. All these figures not as exhaustive. Whose names are in the transfer list. And the transfer list, when you pick it, is supposed to tell you that Professor Jampo transferred his vote from University of Ghana to UPSA. The path must be there. This 15,000, you check the transfer list, it doesn't tell you where they were transferred from. Why? Because their officers who are being controlled by the New Patriotic Party sat in offices and did the illegal transfers like it happened in the case of Pusiga. So they could not capture the path where they were transferred from and where they have been transferred to.
So, did you discuss these?
All of them presented. Yes, but of course you can't project 243 names, 43,000 names.
These issues,
so we gave them for every category, we gave them 5 examples here, 10 examples here, and all that. We presented, no, it was not one. And in fact, our director of election has put out a PowerPoint presentation. The examples, in some cases, 10. These 3,957 people, I'll share the document with you. We put out their ID cards, the whole 2020 ID cards, their names are not in the register. Then you know what they told us? They said, oh, we have already seen these problems.
Well,
and we have corrected all of them. But give us your data and we will check it. Then we say, okay, our investigation is an ongoing process because bear in mind, they gave us, because they knew what they have done, they gave us the provisional register at the 11th hour, a day to the exhibition, so that we will not have any time and opportunity to probe it. They waited and gave it to us at the 11th hour. So we said, okay, if you claim you have identified all these problems and you have corrected them, give us the corrected version of the register, which you have not exhibited. And let us go and check if our concerns have been corrected. Matter ends. Because you can't say that you have corrected something and you want us to believe it when we have not seen it. You have not given the corrected register to the political parties and you have not exhibited it. They say, okay, give us yours. We say, no problem. We will give you our data and everything we have found, and we will find even after that meeting. But we will only give it to you when we set up this body to do this forensic audit. Because you cannot trust the same people who did the illegal transfers in the first place to correct their mess. They can say we are correcting it and spend 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. They will bring you a register. You will now find that they have actually, those were the days of STL. Now they have sacked STL. And even district officers can sit in the confines of their office and do illegal transfers. And you say, give it to us, we will go and correct it. How is that possible? So that's why you cannot be a judge in your own cause. If Charlotte Osei in 2016, in response to demands by Let My Vote Count and Dr. Bawumia for an audit into the register, because according to them, 76,000 Togolese had their names in the register. Charlotte Osei didn't brush it aside. He didn't say that we are independent, so we will not let anybody investigate us, because she had nothing to hide. We set up the Justice VCRAC CRAP Committee All the political parties had representatives there. Yabuabia Samoa can attest to that. And we went into the issues. You understand? You guys are jeopardizing the peace, stability, and democracy of this country. You come in, we are paying you with our taxes. We have given you all the money you need to run the system, to give us a credible register. And you come and sit here and tell us 84 days to a crucial national election that you didn't have liveliness test. What you had was European standard. You have now gone to buy a new one. For what? For what? So, Masa, this thing is a very serious matter. Let nobody deceive you that the NDC is not willing to share its data with the EC. If today the EC says, okay, let's do the forensic audit, all political parties, they can even bring a company with that expertise, and UNDP is ready to fund it. Okay? Let us do this audit. It can, in 1 week, we are done. All the political, everything is clear, everybody sees it. We are willing to share it with them.
So this forensic audit you're asking for has the component of all representatives of the political parties. The political parties, all
in any case, ask them. If, for example, you see, subject what the EC is telling you, you that are watching, subject what they are saying to common sense. An electoral management body says it is not possible for illegal transfers to be done. Now it has happened. They have admitted. Now they say that we have corrected all the errors. Shouldn't they actually be the ones calling us to come for the correct version? To allay our fears, to get us to have confidence in them and to trust them? Shouldn't they be inviting us? Come, we have corrected the thing. Come and take the correct version. Is that not the right thing any fair-minded commission would do? Why is it that we have given them an empty drive, hard drive? We gave it to them the day we met them. Give us your correct version, the corrected register, which nobody has seen except them. Today they have not given it to us. And they say, bring us your issue. We will give those issues, the evidence, the facts, and everything to that bipartisan body that will be put in place to audit the register. Because we don't trust that you will do the necessary corrections, and we don't want to waste time so that by the time we detect that the problem has even become bigger, there is no remedy for us.
Right. But you say,
and in any case, finally, let me make the point that we actually show them the methodology we use to identify all these problems. We simply compared the 2023 voters register, which they gave us. The 2023 register is an updated version of the 2020 register. 2020 register for the 2020 elections, and the limited registration we did after. That is what gives you the 2020 register. So we simply extracted that and compared it with the 2024 register, and we found all those things. And we showed them the software for it. So it is something that they themselves can even do. And then you come and sit here, we've corrected. Where is the evidence that you have corrected?
So that's what you're asking for. So if the corrections have been effected,
we have now bought timeliness tests.
Yes.
To do what? After you have done the illegal transfers.
If the corrections have been corrected, you want that as evidence. And Dr. Jato, I'll come to you.
Just 5 seconds. Hold on. Did you listen to Samuel Tete?
We'll come to that.
Insult all of us.
We'll come to that.
In 2016,
hold on to that point.
Samuel Tete was director for electoral services like Mr. Banubio is today. Mr. Jeffrey, there were trees and animals on the register.
We will come to that matter. We will come to that matter.
What they are doing now.
The reason why I reserve that for the next part of the conversation. We'll come to that. Dr. Jato, so, I mean, especially this morning. And
today is my first time for appearing here, so if I'm GT, it's because I'm just getting used to here, so that is part of it. Okay, see that. Okay.
Indeed.
But I mean, Rashford is here. My boss is here, so he will help me to calm down if I'm getting giddy. Okay, and these people are seasoned veterans of this show. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they won't chop off my head here. So I'm sure I'm in calm territory. Okay.
Indeed.
Thank you. There is a flyer of this program on social media, listing all of us, all those that were supposed to appear here. That flyer identifies me as an MPP communications member. I am not an MPP communications member.
Okay.
There are over 4 million Ghanaians living in the country and outside the country who are MPP members.
Right.
If you just take the people who vote, over 4 million, I'm one of them.
Okay.
I'm an MPP member. Yes, that's true. But I am not here for and on behalf of the MPP, no. I am not speaking for and on behalf of the MPP, no. If I say that I am a usurper, if I say that I'm engaging in fraud.
Okay.
Whatever I've gained in my life up to today has been done on merit, not on fraud. If somebody, again, as I said, my MPP bona fides are out there, they can easily check. A simple Google search of my name will tell you that I'm an MPP member. I've contested MPP elections, but I am not here for and above the MPP. It's very important to put this there. I just want to put that before I make my submission.
It's a fair point. That's what I was introducing. I was specifically stating
no, but I still think that to say, you see when you say that it may made it, no. Just let's pray that I'm here on my merit. The Electoral Commission is one of the institutions, or is the biggest institution, that has been birthed in an environment of mistrust among all players. Since its creation, first as INEC and later as EC. From the very day it was born, it was birthed in an environment of mistrust among all political parties in Ghana. The good thing is that this mistrust has made the Electoral Commission a better institution over the years. And all the reforms that the EC has done and all the changes that the EC has done over the years have all been because of this fundamental mistrust or distrust of the EC by all political parties. And I think it has been good for our democracy. If you look at the elections of 1992, the elections of 1996, they were far better than the elections of 1992. The elections of 2004 were far better than the elections of 2000. The elections of 2012 were far better than the elections of 2008, and vice versa. That is precisely because political parties have never trusted the EC. The NDC has never trusted the EC, the NPP has never trusted the EC. And they've found various creative ways to channel this mistrust and to force, sometimes literally compel the EC to engage in reforms. These reforms have led to transparent ballot boxes. These reforms have led to biometric registrations. These reforms have led to elections being counted right at the polls. A lot of the things we see today and take for granted with the EC has been because of this fundamental mistrust. And for me, sitting here as a politician, I'm happy that this mistrust is there. The day everybody begins trusting the EC is the day the EC stops being a learning organization. The day everybody takes hook, line, and sinker what the EC is putting out is the day the EC stops to be better. And I don't want to see that day. I want to still see the day that is. Secondly, all political parties have behaved hypocritically towards the Electoral Commission.
How do you mean?
A simple search will show that whenever any political party is in opposition, they hate the EC, and when they're in power, they love the EC. Part of the reason is because I theorize that political parties, especially opposition parties, whether the MPP or the NDC, like to play the victimhood card. They like to be seen as victims. And they want to see this EC as this huge behemoth that is out against them because of the government in power. And so you will see that. And as I said, everything they said, a simple Google search will see that almost these positions could immediately reverse. I won't be surprised. Come January 2025, if there is a change of political party, we will see almost a 360 reversal. It will happen. 2012, we'll just see that. We will see that reversal will come. And the reversal comes because positions have changed, levels have changed. If you are an opposition political party in this country, it's difficult to set the agenda. If you are an opposition political party, it's difficult for you to drive the narrative. Playing the victimhood by all the political parties, by the NDC, by the MPP, gives them the chance to galvanize their supporters. It's easier to let your supporters know that we lost these elections because the EC cheated us. We lost these elections because the EC didn't go for it. Once you do that, you are able to weaponize that kind of, should I say, hatred or this against the EC to help your fortune. So for me, this mistrust disorder of EPC is good. It has been good. In fact, I wish other state institutions had been put under such a withering attack. Okay, if they had been, probably the reforms we need, probably the changes we need, probably the better place we want to, we would have been there. But it's precisely because some of them have not been in the eye of the storm. And because they are not in the eye of the storm, that is why some of the things we still see happen. I, for instance, am a student of change, and I'm really happy that this is happening. And it is up to the EC, once you become the EC, to live up to expectations. Because history has a way of judging people. History will judge you. What do you achieve? You are now EC, what did you achieve? And this democracy will judge you. Having said, I want to come to the point.
Well, yes,
as a student
and coming to the point, because you see, you make reference to the the fact that when there's a party in opposition, they criticize and are antagonistic towards the Electoral Commission. If that mistrust is born out of nothing, it's questionable.
I didn't say it out of nothing.
No, I'm not saying so.
Okay.
I'm asking a question. To the extent that the basis for the questions asked, if are not in oblivion, then there is basis for concern, is it not? So
I agree. No, I agree with you, Alfred. There are bases, and that's what I've said. It's those bases that have made our electoral system one of the best in the world.
Okay.
It's those bases. And that's what I've said. And I'm not saying that the criticism that the NDC has are not meritorious. I've not said that. I'm not saying the criticism that past opposition parties have had are not meritorious. I've not said that.
So, for instance, the liveliness check.
I mean, it's meritorious. I don't know what that is, but he's just explaining, and he just come. So it's good. As we go, look, you know that there was a time that the ballot boxes were not transparent. You know that, right? You know that there was a time that after voting, they take the ballot box to a place to go and do, and they get lost. You know that, right? So there are a lot of, you know, there was a time that there was no biometric. But point I'm making is that there's merit. Knowledge does not lie with one person. The NDC has knowledge. The NPP has knowledge. The EC has knowledge. My point is that we need a cross-fertilization of these ideas. And sometimes the best way they come is through these actions and inactions of parties, especially opposition parties. And I'm saying that the Ghana has been good for it. Our democracy has been better for it. That's the point I'm making. But then I ask the question, I always come to something that I always say. We say that in public policy and governance, there are no magical bullets to solve any problem. There are no magical bullets. If they were there, people get them. And that we don't need one-size-fits-all solutions. But when it comes to the EC and the voting, I think that we have what is the closest to a magical bullet, the Ghana card. Why are we still spending millions of dollars, a lot of money, to do voter exhibition, to do voter registration, to buy, what's the name of that thing you were talking about? PVDs. No, the livelihood, whatever.
The liveliness check.
Why are we spending so much doing that when, again, the Ghana card could help us that? Why not? So why are we not saying, look, because the point I'm asking is this. They are in the United States, voting registration is still going on. They are voting in November. People are still registered. Because the system is said that you can do that. Why don't we use the Ghana card? For me, the Ghana card... Is
the Ghana card foolproof to check these things?
No, I'm making first of all...
So you say we should use the Ghana
card. It's the closest. I'm saying it's the closest to a foolproof situation. I'm not saying... Again, I just said no, there are no magical bullets. There's nothing I can say, oh, this thing will cure all the ills. But my point, if we use the Ghana card, it will be the closest to getting us. Yes, there are some people who are not still registered. It's true. There are some people who are not registered to vote. I remember I was in a class when they were doing the mob-up thing. So I stood and asked my student, political science, oh, is there anybody who has not registered? They were hands. I was shocked. One of the students said there was it's in Legon Hall. Come on. The decision was happening right in front of Legon Hall. When she was coming to class, she passed through them, but she never registered. So you can never get 100% of people all registered to vote. It's the same thing. You cannot get 100% of people to all have the Ghana card. But I think that it becomes a fundamental strong place to start. So that what we can say is that, look, elections are coming. 30th October, we'll cut off all those who are 18. And that things they do, we can measure. My point is that instead of saying, look, I think that EC and other public institutions of Ghana have become obsessed with procurement. They've become obsessed. And I don't know why they all of them have become obsessed. Because if you use the Ghana card, you will remove procurement. If you remove the Ghana card, you will really need to keep doing all these things. But they've become obsessed with it, so nobody wants to do it. And I think that, listen, when the Honorable Samuel Okoje was talking here, he said there's this idea that when you do something that he's forming a bipartisan committee in Parliament to do this because he doesn't believe in the idea that when we come, we also do it too. So he wants to, what is the name? Stop that culture, which is a laudable idea. I thank him for that. But it's the same because if we were to do that, we should bring the same mentality to the EC. Let them use the Ghana card because it's already there. There's ongoing registration. With the law or the LI or whatever you call it, we set a cutoff point. At this point, all Ghanaians who are 18, you are cut off. Then we present that because the argument they didn't. For me, and right now that we are even saying we are going to register people at birth and death and this, and it means then that you cannot grow up and just say you are not 17 and you want to change the date. So for me, there are no magical bullets. And for me, the distrust for the EC has been good for our democracy. And finally, I'm going to try to make something. I like the fact that we are doing this. The criticisms of the EC has been baked in. It's called transactional cost. Every citizen expects that political parties, especially political parties, will criticize the EC. Everybody accepts that. It's factored into the system, so it's called transactional cost. The EC knows that. So the EC is kind of sometimes presented like an orphan. If the EC baths, we are saying the EC what? It's wasting water. If the EC doesn't bath, we say the EC, you stink. So the EC can never win. And for me, again, that is good. It is good because it keeps the EC on their toes to make sure they keep doing that. Finally, I'm happy that we are going to an election and the NDC is raising issues. I think the EC should be open to those things. There are suggestions that they are making there. Some of them might be good. And I don't want to believe that, I don't know, that probably it's because of these things that they've bought that tool again. Again, what is it called? Livelihood, whatever. Probably it's because of that they want to bring it. And it may only help to make our electoral process good and better. I'm all for that. That is good. So again, you can use it immediately. There has been there have been something positive out of the position of the NDC on this. Two things to go. Finally, I want to say this. Political parties learn to criticize the EC because of one other thing. They think that it will help them win power. No political party does anything by mistake or by chance. Political parties don't know. Whatever a political party is doing, especially this late party, and especially with political parties like the NDC and the NPP that have won power over, is mostly driven by data. It's mostly driven by research. It's mostly driven by knowledge. So they have come to that. Is why in 2016, when the NPP was doing all that, but the NPP had data that showed them that keep doing that will help them win power they won. It's because by 2012, by 2008, when the NDC was doing that, probably the NDC had had knowledge, had data to show that probably we're going, that's a winning streak. And so you will see, so the political parties doing that is also what I said baked into the cake as a national cost story. Finally, the latest global.
But then again, that's why
So let me just say something. The global informatics, the latest global info analytics.
So you're all good because if you keep saying finally, you give an indication you want to end, and when you keep saying that,
I shouldn't say finally.
You just conclude on that. But you see, the point you just made, so you go to your final. About the political parties raising some of these issues because they want to win power.
No, because it's a winning formula.
It's a winning formula.
It's shown to be a winning formula.
But if it doesn't have basis and it's not having any merit, certainly it will be to the detriment of the political
But I just said it has merit. That has made our electoral process better. That it has helped to make our elections one of the most credible in the world, not just in Africa. I've said it. I'm not saying it's not meritorious. No, I've said that.
I just wanted to...
Yeah, so no, clearly it is meritorious. And I've said it has just yielded results. The EC man here has just acknowledged that, yes, if they had done what they were supposed to do, these things would have happened.
But does that concern you? That this is...
It does concern
normal
me.
process.
It does concern
should have
me.
happened.
It does concern me. As I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what the law... But if the law says you should have done this, I don't know why the EC didn't do it. I don't know why they didn't do it. I don't know why they didn't bring it up. And especially when you realize that we are in a contentious elections and you are dealing with people on both sides of the political who are experienced, smart, intelligent, and they know these things. You don't give anybody even the appearance that you are not doing it. Because that's what I'm saying. The EC is one of the strictest surveillance. And so you don't even give that appearance. So I've just acknowledged that.
Would you support that call for the forensic audit? To, as it were.
I don't know what a forensic is again.
That's
but yes,
just been explained.
If it will help make our electoral system better, why not go for it? I'm all for it.
Right.
If it will help make our, you see, anything that will help make the system better and nicer, we should go for it. Because this democracy we have is one of the best in the world, and we all have a duty and a responsibility to protect and defend this democracy. We all do. So, as I said, and it just bear fruit. They've just bought it. Probably by the time they want to go for their demonstration, the EC would have solved all this.
That's Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm saying probably.
The machine they have bought is financial loss to the state because the transfer is done.
Okay.
So what are you using that test for?
So I don't know that technicality. I want to end on the high note.
Let me finish. I will tell you.
Okay.
Recently, the global.
You want to end on another high note?
No.
Recently, the Global Info Analytics did a survey. And I was worried. I wanted to see, there were two players I wanted to see, the security agencies and how they will handle elections and the EC itself. And I wanted to see what citizens think about these two because they are very, very critical in the elections. Citizens gave security agencies 70% approval. There are skirmishes, we know. We can list them of even deaths, unnecessary deaths, and these things that are happening. But citizens, 70% of the citizens, according to that poll, trust that the what's the name? Security agents do well. I'm happy with that. And I hope that the IGP and all the security agencies will take that and they realize that they have a duty and citizens expect to do more. With the EC, 58% of citizens in that poll trust the EC to do a good job. My plea to you is this. Please increase that number. It's 58% is good. That's a pass, right? Is it a D or an E?
It's a D.
It's a D. Please, my plea with you is that make sure to also raise it to 78% is a B plus. Take it to a B plus.
D is failing.
Okay.
You want your children to
okay. No, I'm not. No, I don't want to get it. All I'm saying that F is a fail. D is not a fail.
If you secondary level, you can't go to.
We are university lecturers. You can graduate with a D. The point I'm making is that take it to a D plus. Work hard to improve it because the citizens have given 58. You've passed. But I think that you should do better because posterity demands that you do better. This constituency, democracy demands that you do better, and everybody demands that you do better. Please improve your numbers.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's some 20 minutes to the top of the hour. I've got a number of your messages about the Facebook link. There was a little hitch with it. It's been rectified long ago. So we've been live for quite a while now. So, but thank you. Thank you so much for the feedback we got on that. Yababi? On this because you're a stakeholder as well. Your party's your movement is going into this election and seeing how things are played out. You heard from the Electoral Commission. There's been calls for a forensic audit so that there's some level of transparency, trust increased in the electoral body going into a crucial election like this that we have ahead of us 83 days from now.
Just like it's been observed, there was an audit of sorts in 2016. In a cooperative manner. So
you were part of it.
It's not a strange call.
I see.
It's not a strange call at all. The mechanics of it can be determined and done. But at the heart of this problem is a winner-takes-all system. It's not 8 years where one party has been frozen out of authority, executive power, and access to decision-making and resources, entirely shut out. And desperate to get in there. And the one sitting there, desperate to remain there for fear of leaving and being shut out. That winner takes all. We've taken adversarial politics so far that after elections, we are not able to reconcile. Ideally, the assumption is that you fight hard, get into power, and then cooperate with a loyal opposition because we are trying to copy the British Westminster system. But where the opposition is completely shut out of access, as we have designed our systems, then there is desperation. And so the Electoral Commission is always under pressure when elections are due. Always under pressure. There is no incentive for cooperation, particularly if they themselves don't put out a posture that is inviting. If their language is not inviting, if their systems appear slightly opaque, then there is serious room for these kinds of situations to happen. But please, the onus for growing trust rests squarely with the Electoral Commission. They have to satisfy political parties, entities, movements, independent, non-partisan candidates like Mr. Chematin, that irrespective of your status, irrespective of the voter's status, they will have access, and the access will reflect the true desire of the people. Access to the register to vote. And that once people vote, their choices will reflect the right posture they took at the booth. So you have two problems, and perhaps without trust building, those two problems will dog us consistently. First is, if there is a doubt on the register, suppose somebody arrives and their name is not in the register, what happens? I arrive at my polling station. I have a card issued me legitimately by the EC, and I find that, as Sami is saying, my name has been deleted in the preparation of the register. What happens to me? If you have such instances above a certain percentage, it influences the election. Our elections are very tight. Well, the gaps are very, very tight.
Constituencies, in three votes have determined an MP.
There are MPs who are in parliament by a difference of 1 vote and 3 votes. It's very, very crucial. So if I arrive there, once the EC, I stood in a queue, particularly the basis of this new register, we stood in a COVID queue. Some years people said they will even agree that we all die of COVID. I remember the language at that time. It was very shrill. If we queue, we would die. Of course, I said that we would die. We didn't die. We didn't die. We didn't die. I believed in a new register, which we got. I believed in a new register, and that is the basis for this current register, the 2020 register, because most of us are holding that basic card from 2020. So now you are adding on and you are editing. Suppose somebody is holding that card and is comfortable enough not to go to an exhibition center, only for you to delete their name, and they arrive and they can't vote. What happens? It's a recipe for chaos. It's a recipe for chaos because power is slipping, is alternating 8 years. Winner takes all. It's a recipe for chaos. The second thing is the collation and announcement of results. That is also to do with numbers on the register. Actual people who turn out to vote and the numbers that can be used to declare the results. Mr. Barnaby, at the moment, there are difficulties, and as he said, with the entire structure of the register and the data management systems. I keep hearing consultant. As far as I'm aware, and the dons will tell me, a consultant is to tell you what you know already, so that you are sure that you know what you know.
In the language you don't understand.
In the language you don't understand. But what we are hearing is that it looks as if the consultants are the ones who are implementing your data system for you. That cannot be sustainable for an institution like the Electoral Commission. What is the state of the data management systems that you have? Because part of the information we are picking up is that managing entry and access to the data, which is controlled by a body other than the EC, creates the disparities and confusions because somebody is doing something and then somebody else has to pick up what has been done to put it somewhere. And in that case, you will clearly have issues. So now if you go in and you are going to announce results and you are collating, and the collation is different from what is on the data, the main data, by the time the announcement comes, nobody has, what do you call it, a remedy. And in 2020, whether it was innocent or not, it happened severally. It happened severally. It was innocent. We will assume and presume it was innocent because it's been tested in the courts. But there were several different announcements. There were several different announcements. So the collation process is also part of the registration issues. So the two things, I think that the EC must moderate its language and be as open as possible and build, and where a demand by a political party will not subtract from your constitutional duty and will aid in building trust. My brother, take it on. Take it on. I don't think an audit should be by Price Waterhouse or it's an unnecessary thing because you are bringing in another body which is not an election manager to interfere in the election process. It's not necessary. But as was done before, bringing the political parties and getting their concerns resolved. If you even confine yourself to whatever the NDC say they have found, within a matter of an hour or two, you can reconcile everything they say they have found, sitting together.
It's a point you made the point because in 2012, I think it was KPMG that was brought in during the presidential.
During the
petition,
hearing.
The petition.
That's the
That was in 2013.
That was the hearing.
They were tasked to review the pink sheets.
So there's evidence to the effect that this call for an audit, as indicated, is not new. It's been done before in a number of election years gone by.
We are not even
as a step.
We are not.
So the Electoral Commission. So I made the point. I asked this question because when Mr. Tete was addressing the press 2 days ago, he indicated that the register since 1992 has not been audited before.
That is true. That is true. In 2016, when there were complaints from NPP that there were some issues with the register in terms of some foreigners who should not be there, a committee was set up, the Justice Craft Committee, and the findings that they they were able to come out with. They indicated that all these challenges they are saying, the exhibition could be used to correct them. So there was not an audit like they took the register to check this.
Now we are done with the exhibition.
But the exhibition system is not a resilient check.
That is what
even in the
that is what they
CPC,
recommended.
They spoke about validation.
That is what they recommended. We did the exhibition, all right.
It doesn't stand up to the test.
No, hold on. So I think you should tell Ms. Abanobio to look around this table. Look around the table. There is a butterfly here. There is an MPP member here, PhD holder. There is an NDC member here. Professor Jampo is about to talk. There is a journalist here, a reputable journalist here. Are you not worried?
You know what? You know,
are you not worried?
No. You know what? We are talking about
issues. Are you defending the indefensible?
No. We are talking about issues. It's not
why
about
will you do voter transfer without
everybody?
Why will you do a voter transfer without a basic system that will ensure that the transfer is legal? The transfer is being done properly. Why?
You know, technology develops as time goes.
Where is the technology?
Let me come in.
Hold on. You went and got a new technology and you are talking about technology development.
It develops with time.
Thank you.
And we started
so the technology you have gone to buy.
We started from
what is the gestation period?
You started from a point. A time will come, we have to input a lot of the issues. Depend upon the demands of the day.
In 2020, why didn't this happen?
No. We started
in 2016, why didn't this happen?
The Electoral Commission started with manual registration. Now we are using biometric registration.
I see. So let's.
So what I'm saying is that.
Hold on to your point.
The figures that are being quoted: 243,000 bloated, 15,000 here, 4,000 there. The EC, sitting with the NDC, can resolve those figures in a matter of an hour or two. There's no reason to banter, to raise temperatures about that. If we are talking about 1 million people, 2 million people, then clearly we are in a serious danger. Where we are now, you need to simply move in and resolve the matter. And you resolve the matter by building trust and confidence. Right. You cannot resolve the matter by saying that, well, I have resolved it, so you go and come back. And you don't do that. So we are saying that once the data, what has changed since STL? STL had control of our data. We screamed and yelled and screamed and yelled and got rid of STL. Now somebody else has control of the data. What's different?
MPP.
What's different? What is different? So now, why is the EC not building consistent capacity, as Mr. Banobio is saying that technology evolves? Why are they? And if everything depends on data management, the way why are they not building the best capacity in IT within the institution to manage themselves? Why are they relying on externalities and consultants and this and creating all this doubt? Because the data can be manipulated. Let's face it. If an outside authority has access and you vote, that authority with access to the data can give you a result. That's not your vote. And by the time that happens, it's too late. That's the second responsibility the EC has. You have the data. I can go stand there and vote, but what you tell me is the result is nowhere near what my thumb asked for. Simply because you have access to the data and you can manage the data in ways that as an individual voter or even as a political entity or a political party or whatever, it will be too late for me to question. Because you are controlling my fate in your hands. Yes. So that data business, the data is what the EC, look, they should organize an excursion. Part of the audit, they should organize that excursion and take us where the data is. Let us see the data. Let us meet the consultants. Let us tell us everything about that data. So that when I go and stand there and vote, I know that when I vote for Mr. Chematin, indeed the vote will be counted fairly for Mr. Chematin.
In the interest of trust and transparency.
But that is the only reason why you build trust. That is why we must trust you. You understand? And if this trust, as a prof is saying, is good, then there must be a cutoff point. 2 months to the election, we shouldn't be distrusting ourselves. 2 months to the election, all the distrust matters should have been resolved by now. 2 months to the election, we should agree that we have agreed to disagree on a few points, but we are going into the election happy. So on those 2 points, if I'm holding a card legitimately issued by the EC, I have a right to vote. Indeed. Whether it is no business of mine being told that a so and so officer deleted it, I have a right to vote. I have the card. 2, after voting, I have a right to ensure that my vote is properly counted, is in the proper database, and it reflects my vote. If I vote for Mr. Chemati doesn't need to come and stand there as an agent and then before the right thing is done. The EC must be fair to everybody. The data must be sacrosanct. Everybody must accept that the data is being wisely, effectively, and transparently managed in the interest of all of us, so that nobody ends up suspecting that we voted,
something has been done.
But what came out of the data management process is different.
Professor Jampo, see, all of these calls directly in the interest of trust and transparency, because Babia Samoa brings another layer of the call that even the political parties should be allowed to see the various protocols every step of the way of the EC's data management system because of all of these doubts. A concern you'd support?
Yes, first of all, let me respectfully and politely disagree with my colleague, Joshua Zato, that mistrust for state institutions, in my view, isn't good. We'll have to build credible state institutions to ensure that they thrive, so that they can be doing the kinds of things that they are supposed to be doing, so that we wouldn't always have to be policing them. It's coming one too many. In Ghana, there are so many institutions of state, people operating within them, and they are being paid to do their work. They don't do it. And there is no trust about whether they will be able to do it well or not. And let us be mindful of the fact that if you don't trust these state institutions, then their work becomes difficult. We may not be able to. We don't have to always second guess, when we are dealing with them. And then, if it comes to Electoral Commission, for instance, we must be mindful of the fact that without the kind of trust that state institutions, and especially independent institutions like Electoral Commission, are expected to have, if you don't get that trust, then we are in for chaos. If people don't trust the Electoral Commission, then that alone is a recipe for conflict, because then they are always aggressively on the defensive. In monitoring the kinds of things that they do. That's why I've always spoken about public trust deficit in some of these state institutions and advocated for the need for the challenge of trust deficit to be addressed. Now, that's aside. So we can talk about criticism of the Electoral Commission being normal. I mean, Electoral NDC, when it is in opposition, will criticize, raise issues. MPP, when it's in opposition, will criticize and raise issues. I think these are normal, but we should never create an impression that mistrust in these institutions are good. Elsewhere, he studied before, I've studied before, state institutions are trusted. You can just go to sleep knowing that the right thing will be done. Who can mail his passport here in Ghana using the PO box system? You cannot do it. We don't trust the postal address system. But elsewhere, somebody can write you a check and post it. The institutions there are trusted that they will deliver. And so public trust in state institutions, particularly the Electoral Commission, in my view, is something that is key, and we shouldn't say anything that downplays that, especially when they are also expected to be independent arbiters. But that aside, I think, Martin Kpebu sitting there, he doesn't like it when I tone down when I'm dealing with the Electoral Commission. But you should note that the Electoral Commission currently is being chaired by my boss, and so I tend to always see, having worked with her for a long time and knowing her heart and who she is. Sometimes I want to be careful because I know her. If you know somebody and you can vouch for the person, there are things that you want to approach with a certain trepidation. I've listened to Mr. Bano Bio, and yesterday, before coming here, I had to do some calls and consultations, and because at one point in time I thought the NDC was being too unreasonable So I called some of them. I said, well, you are being unreasonable. And they were putting their case. And I also had to do, I have to say it, I had to play a certain role to bring Mr. Barnaby here because I felt that he should be here to speak in defense because I felt maybe the NDC was being too unreasonable. But listening to Sami Jemfi and the kinds of things that he's saying vis-a-vis what Mr. Barnaby has said, I think respectfully, let there be ceasefire. Let the Electoral Commission accede or yield to the demand that is being made. If auditing of some sort has been done before, let this be done for the purposes of ensuring that the trust deficit that confronts the Electoral Commission is addressed, and for the purposes of also ensuring that we don't push ourselves into an unnecessarily tensed election, and then we don't get into implosion because of some of the things. Because he's raising clear, serious concerns. You didn't discover these things yourself. We discovered it, and then you said you are addressing it. And then they are saying that what shows that it's not happened elsewhere. So let us all sit around the table and then look into it. If it will not undermine the independence of the Electoral Commission, if it will not spoil anything, then I'll appeal. And I want to make the point also to the head of the Electoral Commission that, you see, like I keep saying, I know her. She means well. But you should also know that if you preside over such state institutions, there are people with diverse interests. Okay, so you may be looking in the right direction, but there may be people under you who may also be working to sabotage you. There may be people who may be incompetent, not you necessarily being the incompetent person, but then you may be working with people who may not be so competent, and they may be doing things that may be sabotaging you. And so such interventions like audits would help us to be able to identify who did what. Okay, and if there are remedial interventions, we would put in place to address the challenges of our electoral processes. And these things would also show up the image and the transparency of the commission. So I don't want to protract this. I think I've listened enough to Sami Jemfi. I've listened to Mr. Bio, and Mr. Bio is not saying that the kinds of things Sami Jemfi is saying are not true. He's not saying that. And so if that is the case, then rather than we allowing a demonstration that will pick up our political temperature, I would plead and I would make sure that Jimenez as an elder sister, I will continue to talk to her that, look, if acceding to the demand for all of us all the political actors to sit together, to compare notes and to see what is wrong and how to address them. If these things would not undermine the independence of the commission, if these things will not take away the role of the commission, but if these things will bring about peace and they will bring about transparency, then it is good for the image of the commission itself to allow these things to go on. And so let there be ceasefire. It is true, Zato has said it, political parties in opposition are always against the Electoral Commission. When they are in power, they are in bed with the Electoral Commission. I mean, this is something that we said over and over. But this particular demand that is being made, listening to the comments around the table, it appears that they are legitimate demands. Let them be addressed amicably, and let the Electoral Commission have its own institutional peace as it prepares to conduct the upcoming elections.
I just want to, since we are students, about the trust issue. Okay. The academic literature is literally divided on that. Because sometimes what happens is that too much trust can lead to what? That is what dictators say. Yes. Too much trust can lead to what? Public agencies doing worthful things. So there should be a certain healthy level of mistrust and distrust, especially among very, very critical and important agencies. Okay, so you need it. It's a healthy dosage of it is important.
Lamatic people is joined us. You can hear his voice.
Yes.
Who measures? Who uses a teaspoon to measure it?
It's not a teaspoon. It's a cocoa bowl.
Thank you. So that's a position you support. Welcome.
It's unassailable. You always need a certain dosage of mistrust. The day you go to sleep thinking that duty bearers to do the right thing. You are finished. Haven't you seen a Kufuado?
Haven't you seen the Iraq war? Have you seen the Iraq war?
The weapons of mass destruction.
Okay.
The dossier was sexed up.
Colin Powell was trusted so much so that even when he appeared before the Security Council, he said, those are the things. They can lead to bad decisions.
Right. Mr. Banobio, that ask that the NDC put before you, that if you say you have corrected, I think you've repeated it on this platform, that you've corrected the issues that the NDC raised.
I said we've corrected the issues that we have detected. NDC has not given us their issues.
Okay.
But we told them that they should let us have it. Perhaps we have even, it's part of what we have already corrected.
So when they made the demand that, okay, so the ones you have corrected, let them have a copy of it. Why didn't you give it to them?
We told them that we were still in the process. We have not finished. As I'm talking to you now, we are still working on it, and until the district registration review officer has finished his work and we have implemented the decisions, we cannot freeze data. So what we told them was that we are still working on it. Okay. So they should let us have this. We investigate. If they are not already resolved, then we do that. And when we finish, we give them what we have done for them to have them. And you see, the liveliness that he's talking about, it was good that we introduce it now, because it enables us to take all the transfer that we are making through it to ensure that nobody use such unapproved means to effect transfers.
Okay,
but so it was good.
Indeed. So you did it post the exhibition?
We did it
after the exhibition.
We did it before the end of the exhibition. When the issue cropped up, we immediately took steps to acquire it.
But the exhibition started.
So the audits that they are asking for all around the table, will it hit?
The issue is that the issue is that EC is for credible voters register. So if NDC is coming on board to support us achieve, we have no problem. They should let us know what is wrong with the register.
No, but the presentation they did before you on last 2 weeks Friday, it wasn't enough to convince you that there was some concern, something wrong?
We already think that we might have resolved those things because we have resolved all the issues that we have identified. And so they should not say no. Areas that they think there are still issues to resolve. When you are able to make your case, then we take it from there. And secondly, we are even asking them to come to the discussion table.
No, but they had a discussion table.
No, that was not discussion. They came to show us. And we are asking that they should come to the discussion table so that
to discuss what exactly?
The issues that they are talking about.
But the issues they brought to you 2 weeks ago.
They did not bring them to us.
The things they
inform us that they have issues and categorize them into 5 and give examples.
No, Alfred, did you admit
if they give examples?
Yes.
Then
did you admit to those issues?
You, for instance, you say 50,000 people, dead people are on the register. How do we know if you don't provide the details?
Dead people is not part of the
it's not part of the issues.
That's just part of it.
No, it's not
you
part
mentioned
of it.
50,000. Ask your director for elections.
Okay, so
and you say about 3,900 and something people are missing. How do we get them if you don't have their details?
Haven't you admitted?
No.
Admitted to what? We are saying that if you have issues, bring them and let us see how it goes.
No, so the presentation they made to you at that meeting last week, Friday, it wasn't enough to let you know that there were issues with the register.
They made a presentation, showed us some examples.
Correct.
And we are asking for the details to enable us to verify.
But they indicated to you
because you have gotten it. You claim that you got it from the register that we gave you, and you have brought this in and it shows to us. And we're asking for the details to enable us examine as to what you are even saying is true.
But you confirmed that there were some errors.
We said that those errors, we have already seen them and have corrected most of them.
So,
but it's not that what they brought us, that they brought us in, for instance, missing registers. People have reported missing names. People have reported, and we have been able to do inclusion for them. So if you say that you have found missing names, we tell you, yeah, we have seen some of them.
So because you're saying that the issues they raised, you hadn't seen them. Some of the corrections you have made, which you have admitted that there were errors. they raised them.
Yes. But every issue is unique per the ID number that goes with that voter. And so they need to be resolved on their own merit.
Well, but there's a reason why the law requires that the liveliness check is implemented.
The Regulation 22 does not even talk about liveliness check. Please.
So that the people are present before you. There's a reason why the law requires that the person should be present at the beginning of the exercise, the voter exhibition exercise.
You are talking about the transfers.
That did not happen.
You are talking about the transfers.
Yes.
So please situate
that did not happen. But yet there were transfers when the human beings did not appear before you, but their votes were transferred.
This is crime.
Is that not concerning for you?
Please. It concerns us so much. That is why we have put in place an investigation. The officer as at now, because it was his credential that was used. We have put in place structures. If the structure is not abused, nobody could have done what they did. Somebody picked the ID card. It is not the return officer, as is claimed, who used the register. It was the voter's ID card of those people that somebody went and collected. Under whatever pretext, I don't know, but they claimed that he said he was going to offer them, assist them to get loans. And connive with somebody, an official of the EC, we engage so many temporary officers. It's a human institution. Yeah. And then they use the photograph on the ID card to effect transfer through facial verification. And as I indicated, that time we did not have a liveliness check. But now we've gotten it.
That's
and
what
I told you that, no. You see,
that's what the concern is.
Please, when you start a process, when you start using a technology, you cannot get even as at now. There are certain things, as we move forward, we have to bring into our technological structure. So you cannot get everything at a go. It revolves with time.
Okay.
We started with manual verification. Now we are in what? Biometric verification. So do you say that when we're using the manual verification, why don't you answer? Why were we not using the biometric verification? As time goes on, things change. Society is dynamic. So it's a process of the Electoral Commission. When we encounter a challenge, then we get a solution for that. Because this particular issue was the first time that we encountered such a challenge. And so that you need to take the necessary steps to ensure that it doesn't reoccur. And then we have also gone back using that liveliness check. We have gone back to ensure that all the transfers made, nobody used any other fraud means to effect them, which we have done. You see, and let me come to another one. Mr. Boabin said something. When it comes to election results, counting, collation, and declaration, it is done manually. It is not the system that declares the results. So nobody can change the result through the system. And when we are counting results at every level, we have the agents there. We give them copies. At the constituency level, they are there. At the regional level, they are there. At the head office level, they are there. So nobody can change the results. Once the polling station results is announced, nobody changes results.
Yeah, results
okay.
When polling station results is announced, and then agents have signed, copies are given to the political parties agents. Nobody. That forms the primary document for declaring results at any level. Okay. So if you say results are changed, the person should prove it. Okay. Nobody changes results in this.
There were issues that were raised.
The results
that was not
thank
a
you,
change.
Gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. There were specific issues that were raised.
Now, you see, first of all, Mr. Banu Bio peddled falsehood when he stated that the issue of Pusiga, which has to do with illegal transfers, transferring voters in absentia without their consent or notice, only happened in Pusiga. That was false.
Absolutely.
Because
that is the truth.
It's false. Honorable Eric Opoku, our MP for Sunafo South, you can check. In the Sunafo South, 32 voters were illegally transferred in absentia without their consent to Insuatre. And they reported and gave all the details to the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission says, oh, we've corrected it. Till date, the EC has refused to give them the corrected version of the register. And they have not indicated
when they will re-exhibit the so-called corrected register. So you don't even know whether that has been remedied. Number two, this argument that, oh, technology evolves and blah, 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 it's a totally flawed argument. You see, you people should be listening to yourselves when you are talking, when you try to defend the indefensible. When you say technology evolves, what it means is that with time, technology is improved.
Yeah.
So it cannot be getting worse, and your justification is that, oh, technology evolves. If we started doing transfer from God knows when, okay, and you yourself say that under Charlotte say, under Ferijan, we never had a situation where EC officers could sit in their district offices to transfer people in absentia without their consent illegally, because the system was robust, the technology at the time was robust, and that technology is evolving. Then in 2024, it cannot be justifiable that IT system, which was robust in 2016, 2012, 2020, 2008, is now so porous, so weak, that now EC officers can do illegal transfers that the system did not even allow them to do a decade ago. What that means is that the system is getting worse.
Yes, after killing 8 people.
And I don't believe that this is a problem of an IT system. It was deliberate.
What?
Because like he said, in the case of all those 38 people, these were people that government officials went to and said, we want to give you loans. Give us your voter IDs.
Please, it's not
people. How will you know? How will you know?
They say somebody.
How will you know? You know the identity of the somebody.
I don't know the somebody.
These are party people, and I'm telling you that they are MPP people. And you are saying,
I do not have
say
that
you don't know.
What I know is what I'm telling you.
Say you don't know.
So
you see, this is what you get when you have rabid MPP foot soldiers managing the IT system of the EC. Let me tell you something. We talk about the IT system being audited for us to know the protocols for entry, who has entered and at what time did they enter, and did they have authorization to enter, and what did they do when they entered, to diagnose the problem and to come up with practicable solutions to prevent what has happened. This man is saying no. And you see, he's even defending government. It's not government. Let me tell you why. Do you know who is running the IT system of the EC? A man called Dr. Ofori. Dr. Ofori is a former MPP Tescon patron. Who is the one supporting him? Yakwache. Who is Yakwache? The son of Amfo Kwache, Akufo-Addo's former personal assistant. Why is this man the director? Why is this man? Hold on. Why is this man, Mr. Banubio, the director for electoral services? Do you know where he was working? He's been a long-standing regional EC director in Ashanti region. 2024 election is coming. They bring him from Ashanti region. He's now director for electoral services. Why won't you have them defending these things?
Yes, absolutely.
So, again, you see, hold on. Yes. Honorable Yabuabia someone made a very important point. Listen to me. I'm coming.
It's so bad. You are being petty.
Listen.
So bad.
We are not being petty here. You have bastardized the electoral commission by appointing people like me. Can Sami Jenfi, if Sami Jenfi, your mama makes me an EC commissioner, is that pettiness? You made Apiaje a known MPP communicator who I was debating on radio in Sunyane, an MPP Tescom patron. Yeah. You made him an EC commissioner. You've taken You've taken another MPP Tescom person. You've given him your IT system to run. We are raising that, and you are saying this pettiness. Are you serious? Are you serious? You think we don't know the things you did in Ashanti region when you were there? Hold on. Let's continue. No. Let's continue. Alfred, let me stay on issue. Yabuabia made a very important issue about the fact that the figures involved.
No.
Let's continue.
That is your
progress from there. The point is made. Let me make progress.
Because you cannot sit down here for them to just feel lies.
Have you admitted Pusiga? How did an electoral officer sit in the confines of the... We detected Pusiga. If you claim that you are doing your own investigation, why didn't you detect Pusiga?
Exactly.
Because you are part of it. You did it. Look, and he has sat here and lied that it happened in only Pusiga. I've demonstrated to you as soon as South, your reporters can check. Ofori Chrome, they did illegal transfers. I have the data. You can go and check from across the country. But hold on, listen. Imagine that we are able to illegally.
That's disinformation.
Hold on, please. I didn't ask you.
He's talking.
Hold on, imagine that they are able. You see, they have over 40,000 police stations in Ghana. Just take half. That's 20,000. If they succeed with this illegal transfers they are doing on the quiet that people are not paying attention to, and they disenfranchise only 10 voters per polling station. That is 200,000 votes. Absolutely. In 2008, the margin between Akufo-Addo and Atta Mills for the first round was 40,000. You understand? And we know what they are doing behind the scenes. They have profiled 18,000 polling stations that they are doing these things at. What we are saying is that, look, there is no time for you to say, bring us the evidence of the manipulation we have done, which you have found, and then we will go and sit in our own offices and come and tell you after some weeks at the 11th hour that we have corrected those errors and give you that corrected register at a time where it will be impossible for you to probe the register and even get any remedy should there be problems in that register. Agree with you, so right now, you say you are interested in correcting errors. Sit with our experts, bring experts of the other political parties, your so-called MPP foot soldiers who you have turned into ICT consultants, bring all of them. Let's project it on the screen. Let us audit the register. More importantly, audit the IT system. That is even more important than the register. Because we have to make it impossible for people who don't have the right authorization to enter the database. As we speak, according to him, anybody can enter. You sit here, Director for Electoral Services. You are paid with our taxes. Hold on. You sit here and you say that as at the time we went to do transfer, you did not have a liveliness test system in place. And you want us to trust you. Assuming that this was even an act of inadvertence, which I don't believe it is. I believe that this is a deliberate criminal act. But assuming without admitting that it is even an act of inadvertence, it means that you are hopelessly incompetent that today you should resign. To do voter transfer without the basic system that will allow you to check that the transfer is being done. Basic system. Lastly, this is what I'm saying. The last lie. Hold on. It's okay. Look, he has lied again that in the case of Justice Crab, they didn't do an audit. Senior, listen. What was the main issue the MPP raised that led to that investigation or the constitution of that committee? It was about an allegation that there were close to 80,000 Togolese on our register. How could the CRAB committee have investigated that without an audit?
I told you so. Disinformation.
So you are lying on this platform again that there was no audit. They did an audit and they came to the conclusion that it was a lie. There was no such people, Togolese, on the register. So please, the registers, these are serious matters. And Alfred, what I'm trying to tell you is that on Tuesday, all lovers of democracy, including my senior brother who is a good friend of G Mensa, who is not listening to his advice, Professor Jampo, Boabia Samwa from the Butterflies Party, Martin Pebu, even this my objective brother from the MPP, who at some point I was wondering whether he's because he is more MPP than you, right? The Banubi is more MPP than you. All of us, all Ghanaians who want free and fair elections, we are converging in all the 16 regional capitals. We are engaging in a peaceful protest. We are demanding for an audit of the register and its IT system. Simple. If you have nothing to hide on your comfort, near Pamo, you don't run. If you have nothing to hide, you will even say, come, let's do the audit. Because you know you have done a good job, and at the end of the audit, you'll be vindicated. The reason why you are shivering, you are doing everything, running from radio station to radio station, TV station to TV station, trying to prevent an audit is because you know the manipulation you have done. In any case, you as a journalist, you should ask him, Mr. Banu Bio, you have been doing press conferences. Why is it that when you invited the NDC to come and present our evidence to you, you said that you were not going to allow the media, the fourth estate of the realm, to be present to cover it live? Because of the shady things you have done with the register. And you should be ashamed of yourself for doing that.
It's 23 minutes after 10.
You are jeopardizing the democracy of this country and the peace of this country.
You know what? NDC wrote to us that they want to meet us. You are here, I said, I'm coming to meet you for some discussions. And whilst I'm coming, I tell you that I'm coming with the media. You don't even know the agenda that they are coming. So will you allow
media people?
No. What is it that you are scared of the media? No, we are not scared. You are coming to our offices for discussions. If you have good intentions, why do you need the media there? Not that. There were even 9-member team that came. You were just 5.
Okay, so what was the
concern? We gave them the audience.
I just wanted to understand the specific issue with the media coming in to cover this.
At that time, we had not planned for media interaction.
I see.
So we asked them to come so that we sit down and deliberate over issues in a very frank manner. Then we pick it from there.
So what did you need to in terms of making media provision?
What are you scared of that you don't want the media to be there?
No, what did you need in terms of preparing for the media? What did you need to do to have allowed us to cover that meeting?
That meeting that they were asking for, we felt that there was no need for the media. We need to sit down as stakeholders and speak about issues. So we felt that there was no need for media coverage. We have to talk man to man and know what issues they have brought, then we pick it from there.
Listen to this text message. Let me read this important thing to you. Director Mr. Benjamin Banubio is lying. The District Registration Review Committee, DRRC, he cited as the reason that the commission is waiting for their verdict before they can give the updated version of the register to the NDC is totally false. The committee long concluded its work and verdicts implemented on the voter management system in the various district offices across the country. Long time ago, and they have all received their allowance of 497
It is a wrong information. This is misinformation. Let me clear it. I spoke about the District Registration Review Officer.
I mean, they have submitted their report to you.
No,
they have not.
They are working.
So what is the terminal? So when should
by 20th? Please. 20th they will finish.
20th of when?
Of September.
Before we will get the register.
I'm talking about.
Would you re-exhibit?
Oh, please.
Alfred, would they re-exhibit the so-called corrected register? Because on their calendar,
you ask a question. You ask a question.
I think it's important that we
will you re-exhibit?
So the message sent to you was false.
Hold on.
Are you sure?
Yes. The District Registration Review Committee that we have the representative of the political, they do their work after registration. That is done.
Okay. Thank you.
It is the exhibition that the review officer coming.
After exhibition, all this while you still don't have your reports.
No, it is not the committee report. You are not listening.
Now,
the committee report.
Finished the exhibition weeks ago. You still don't have your report.
You do not want me to talk. The committee's report have been received and implemented. We are at another level. The exhibition. After exhibition, it is not the work of the committee.
When did we finish exhibition?
Oh, let me finish.
When did we finish exhibition?
Why are you doing this?
When did we finish?
Don't heckle me.
Hold on. There's a last question that I want to find out from you.
I need to finish with this question.
Let me finish the exhibition. Simple question.
Please. There are timelines. Excuse me. The registration review officer, they have to finish their work by 20th September.
When then who finish the exhibition?
You know it already. Why are you asking?
Okay. So Mr. Banabio, are you going to re-exhibit the
all this register? While you are saying you don't have reports from
hold on. Mr. Banabio, are you going to re-exhibit the corrected register?
That would be a decision of the commission. You see, after the exhibition, we are not going to
logical question. Please, one question.
We are not going to exhibit it.
Listen to me.
You are not going to exhibit the.
We are finished with the exhibition.
So how then will we know that the errors have been corrected?
That's why we are asking you to come to the discussion.
Look at this. You are the dubious.
That's what it is.
Okay, gentlemen, hold on. We'll be back shortly after this quick break.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luckiest everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing so you have to come. Wallah. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. Hey, yo, deal with you. We are star 712. It's much more follow. I'm on the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And I'm with me at ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Let's
choose buy tickets for adults.
Love you, boo boo.
No, maybe straight to option 4. You need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body, Hey, Dema, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders, and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter, and we don't back down.
Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the Center of Corruption Investigations.
Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Ghana's Most Beautiful celebrates Africa. Come with us on a special episode as our 10 stunning queens explore the rich heritage of diverse African countries, discover the values that shape us and the vibrant traditions that make us proud. Don't miss this unforgettable celebration of African culture. Ghana's Most Beautiful, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride.
GMB is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix,
Techno Common 30,
AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soup, GTP,
Kivo 4-in-1 Curry Mix, Kivo 100% Natural Hot Pepper,
NLA.